Hello and welcome to day 4 of the Cycling New Zealand Track National Championships here at the Grassroots Trust Velodrome. I'm Rushy Buchanan and alongside me commentating is Andrew Williams. How's it going, Andrew?
Well, it's going good, Rushley. I'm really looking forward to the program today.
Yeah, we've got quite a lineup today, lots of events, lots of exciting races coming up. So we've got the women's under-19 sprint qualifying is the first event on the track with some pursuit finals after that, and then a scratch race, Kieran's, bunch racing, eliminations. Wow, we're going to have to, our commentating game's going to have to be on.
Yeah, I think we're going to really need to be on point here, and it's a great mix between endurance and sprint events today.
Yep, there is. So I understand that you're from Canterbury. You've worked closely with a lot of these riders, so who do you think we should watch out for today?
I'd like to think we're going to have a really good ride from Amelia Sykes in the individual pursuit for the under-19s. I think she's got unfinished business from a qualifying ride. On top of that, I'd like to see Sammy Donnelly step into close to the 3:30 mark in the IP.
Yeah, really good rides from both of those girls yesterday. Both either close to or had a personal best. And both of them are lining up in at least 3 events each today. So big days for those girls ahead.
Yeah, really heavy program, but I think it's their last individual day, so I think they can handle it.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting race out there, and I think both of them are crossing over. At least Sammy, I know she's lining up for the Kieran, so going to do an IP, a Kieran, and then finish off with an 80-lap points race.
Yeah, why not mix it up a little bit? Sammy actually medalled in the Kieran last year, so she'll be trying to mimic that again. Hopefully find a good wheel and go for it.
So we can see the riders just starting to line up on the back straight now for the under-19 women's sprint qualifying. So we have 7 riders in this event. Also, welcome to the women's under-19 sprint qualifying.
This is an event that is very explosive, Rushley, and these girls will be really looking forward to putting out a good time.
Yeah, I believe the winner of this event last year was actually Amelia Sykes.
It was. She did cross over. This year, obviously, with the pursuit final straight following it, it makes the transition a little bit more difficult. So she'll be focusing on that pursuit rather than the sprints there.
So what kind of times do you think we should look out for today from these girls?
I'd like to think that the faster girls will be cracking mid-11s, but I think probably to qualify for the top 4, I think high 11s would probably do it today.
So the world record for this under-19 sprint qualifying is 10:07.
Which is very rapid.
Yes, very rapid.
So traditionally what we see here is the rider is pushed out onto the track. They've got 3.5 laps to build their pace and build up around the track. From there, as they come into a lap to go, which is 250 metres, they'll be really trying to hit their pace, Rushley.
And a key part of this is actually the push-off from the coach. So if we watch here, the first rider's just about to get pushed up onto the track, and that's so the rider doesn't have to use all of their energy getting up onto the track. So it's quite a vital part of the whole event, actually.
Especially with these riders pushing quite big gears nowadays, I think getting up to speed and taking the pressure off their legs is pretty paramount.
What kind of gears do you think these girls are riding out there?
I think most of them will be probably riding high 90s for this, would be my gut feeling.
Now we have the first rider away. It's Ella Buffery from Waikato Bay Plenty.
So as we look at Ella right around here, she'll slowly progress up to the top of the track. That way she can sort of get the maximal sort of downward run off the banking and help her build the speed up.
So she's gone with a double disc combo.
Traditionally we tend to see that on timed events, so that way it just helps with a little bit more aerodynamics and propelling around the velodrome.
As Ella comes down the front straight for 2 to go.
So Ella now will be looking to try and build her pace up, so as she hits 1 to go, she's really starting to hit her straps.
Down the back straight, building speed. And as she comes down the front straight, she'll try and get maximum speed, coming across the finish line and then hitting the 200 metre line where the timing starts.
And we can see there before Ella wasn't quite using the whole track, so if she works on that, she can gain a little bit more speed off the banking.
Putting her head down, trying to get aero. And Ella with a time of 13.2. Average speed of 54.3. As the second rider comes across down the home straight.
So this is Charlotte Earle from Waikato Bay Plenty. So again, she'll be looking to try and better Ella's time from before.
Coming down with 2 to go. Staying high on the track. Nice and high in the corners.
So you can see the difference here with Charlotte versus Ella. She's just a little bit higher up on the track, so using the full height of the banking to try and help build his speed.
Yeah, maximum free speed if you can stay up there for as long as possible. She gets out of her seat, accelerates down the home straight, coming in with 1 to go.
And it's a pretty solid line there for Charlotte, so she'll be looking to try and set a really good time.
So 14.6 for Charlotte.
And
Now,
on the track now, we've got Sammy Walker. So she'll be looking to try and set a good time after a Kieran heat win, which she did yesterday. So she'll be trying to build on that.
so Sammy's gone with a rear disc and a front tri-spoke.
Sammy's one of these riders that's crossing over from the endurance events. She finished 5th in the pursuit yesterday, just missing out on a final ride. So she'll be trying to make the top 4 and qualify for the semi-finals today of the sprints.
She looks like she's got really good speed, staying up really high.
Yeah, and we can see the difference between Sammy and the previous two. She's definitely holding more speed along the top of the banking as she looks to wind up and hit the start-finish line and the 200 metre to go.
Sitting in first at the moment. Good ride from Sammy. Sitting in first with a 12.6 at the moment.
So she's just over half a second in front of Ella Buffery at the moment.
Now we have Jessica Schuler on the track for Waikato Bay Plenty. She's getting aero, got her elbows fully bent, getting tucked in.
Yeah, she's definitely got that sprinter position dialed in. So you see with a lot of the elite athletes, they're very aero, tucked in, trying to sort of minimise the drag that they're hitting when they're riding.
You can see that she's really comfortable riding up high, reasonably slow at the moment, but she'll use the maximum height in a lapse time to get all of that speed.
And it's such an amazing benefit for these Waikato Bay Plenty riders having such a great facility like the Grassroots Trust Velodrome here.
Yeah, these riders train on here multiple times a week, so I'm sure they know every single board on this track. As she gets out of her seat, winds it up, coming down with 1 to go. She crosses the timing line, down the back straight. Elbows still bent, still trying to stay maximally aero. head down, all the way, and she's currently got the fastest time with 12.0.
So that's a really good time by Jessica Schuler. So she'll go to the top of the leaderboard at the moment. So again, just over 0.5 ahead of Sammy Walker from Canterbury.
Now we have Pearl Harris-Blaine from Southland.
So Pearl was a medalist in the Kieran, so it'll be great to see if this transitions across to the sprint event.
Pearl also rode this event last year, doing a 12.9.
So Pearl will be obviously looking to build on that, and hopefully we'll see a good time come out from Pearl.
Another rider staying really high on the track.
And you can see just how comfortable these riders are riding high on this banking, because it is very steep, Rushley.
Yeah, it can be pretty scary up there, especially as you get close to the rail and you're going really fast. She comes in across this timing strip.
So Pearl hit in really well there, so she'll be looking to try and get a good sort of 100-metre time and then build in. She's just gone through second.
With a 12.4 from Pearl and currently sitting in second. Now coming down the front straight for her ride is Sophie DeVry from Waikato Bay Plenty.
It's great to see Sophie back on a bike, Rushley, after a hip injury, really building it back in and looking to do some good stuff at these nationals. I noticed she got third in the Kieran the other night, so hopefully we're going to see some good times from Sophie.
Yeah, I know Sophie's really excited to be here after her bit of a rough year with her injury, and she just really loves racing with her friends and being on the boards, so hopefully we see a good ride here. And yeah, she's already had a great week in the Kieran.
I was talking to her earlier this morning and she says she's just been back on the bike 2 weeks. So to be here at Nationals alone is such a great achievement, let alone walking away with a national medal.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. You see she's got the sprinter gloves on, holding her position really well. She's winding it up in the seat.
Sophie was actually second in this event last year, so hopefully we can see her make the top 4 and fight out for the win today.
Currently sitting in second. The 12.2.8 from Sophie.
So that's a good ride from Sophie, setting out a good time, and I think she'll be pretty happy with that, with where she is in her training block.
And the last rider for this event is Gemma Corduroy from Waikato Bay Plenty with the nice pink socks.
It's a little bit of a trademark of Gemma, isn't it? So she rode those in the 500 as well.
Yeah, and it matches her handlebars quite nicely.
Coordination is very paramount, Rushley.
Look good, feel good, go good, right?
That's the saying. And she's tucked up really nicely, getting Euro along the top of the banking there, just coming through the start-finish line.
Yeah, you can tell these girls who ride this track a lot are comfortable sitting up on the top of the track as they just hold their position and they're just not losing any energy through their body movement. Winding it up, coming down the home straight, one lap to go.
She's moving.
Great ride from Gemma.
That was our first ride under 12 seconds today, so 11.971. So she'll take top spot from Jess Schuler, it looks like, with Sophie DeVries in third and Pearl Harris-Blaine in fourth.
Awesome rides from those girls. And we'll see these girls again later in the program as they line up and match each other in the match sprints. So now for the second event of this session, we have the women's under-19 2K individual pursuit final. So yesterday we saw them do the qualifying. Had some really good rides from all of the girls. And now they're back to try and see if they can better their times and lay it down for a medal. So we start with the bronze medal ride with B. Townsend from Auckland and Georgia Simpson from West Coast North Island.
And these girls in the qualifying round were separated by just over a second. So it'll be pretty close, I think, as they fight out for that bronze medal.
So we see the start gates being taken up onto the track. So 2K might not sound like a long way, but when you're out there,
it seems a lot further than you think. This is an event where if you go out too hard and you're riding too quick too early on, you can definitely feel it towards the end of the race, and that last K becomes very difficult very quickly.
yeah, you don't really want to look at the lap board until the very end. You know, if you look at it and you've still got 7 or 6 laps to go, it's going to be a long 7 or 6 laps. But if you can keep your head down until you hear the bell, then that's maximal aero gains and a good ride.
Yeah, and aerodynamics plays a massive part in this event, doesn't it, Rushley?
Yeah, definitely. Despite how much it's hurting, it's best just to keep your head down and stay as aero as you can. So the least surface area going into the wind, the faster you'll go.
And especially in an event like this, which can be separated by hundredths of a second, it's really crucial to make sure that you are staying at aero.
So we got B getting on her bike on the front straight.
So her coach, Elise Fraser, is helping her on.
And then Georgia Simpson on the back straight for West Coast North Island.
So these two will be really looking forward to backing up a great ride that they had yesterday, and hopefully finding a couple of extra seconds to show that they can back up and really deliver.
Yeah, they've had nearly 24 hours since their qualifying, so hopefully they're feeling refreshed and ready to go.
And this is rather unusual in a pursuit event. Normally it's done in the same day.
Yeah, so I'm sure they're grateful for the extra recovery. Off we go.
Great start there by B. Townsend. Awesome hip drive out of the gates.
Yeah, really powerful start from her. You can see all the energy going straight through the pedals into the bike. As we watch Georgia coming down the front straight now, just getting on top of that gear before you get down and sit in the aero bars. It's important to make sure you're on top of the gear.
And they've gone out pretty well. A 22-second lap for B there. And both of these girls are holding really good lines here, Rushley.
Yeah, it's quite difficult actually in the aero position to see where you're going. So it can be quite a skill to stay on that black line and hold a straight line, but these girls are doing pretty well. It's also sometimes a tactic to go a little bit higher in the straights just to make it a bit rounder, so you're not having to like turn the bike down.
And you can see here Georgia's just gone out a little bit harder than B, so she's taken the lead within the first K.
Pretty close race at the moment with 4 laps to go.
And with how hard Georgia's gone out, hopefully she's going to be able to hold on well.
Yeah, it's at this point where you really just need to give everything that you've got into these pedals and into the bike. I imagine it's hurting quite a lot right now, but you just kind of got to keep pedaling and keep your head down. And
it's at 1.2 seconds with 3 laps to go.
so Georgia with the slight advantage at the moment. Coming in with 2 laps to go.
This is going to be close. B's come back 0.4 in that lap, so...
Yeah, it's definitely a race to the finish line, this one. You kind of don't really know what your competitors are doing unless your coach is telling you from the side of the track. So you've really just got to go as hard as you can until the finish line.
It looks like George is just tiring up a little bit there. Yeah, B's coming back very strongly now.
Yeah, this is going to be a tight finish.
It looks like B may have just rolled over her, and she has.
She's coming into the finish now.
Oh, and a great ride from both of these girls. It's an improvement from what they did yesterday.
Yeah, that was an awesome ride from B.
And she'll
Just laid it all out down there and gained the advantage in the last lap.
And she'll be wrapped with how she timed that ride. That again is another personal best from B. So she set a 6-second PB in the qualifying round yesterday. So
wow, it's a huge ride.
It's massive, and a 0.2 improvement today. So really good to show that she can get under that magical 2:30 mark for the under-19s.
Yeah, good rides from both of those girls. You can tell that they just left it all out there, and yeah, impressive times. Good to see the future of New Zealand women's cycling out here.
And it's nice to see a battle like that, so a close ride and them both really fighting for that bronze medal.
Yeah, that was an awesome IP right down to the line. So coming up here, we have Amelia Sykes on the home straight. So she'll be wanting to lay a good time, probably wanting to lay a personal best down on the track today. She's had an awesome week.
So Amelia's PB is 2:20, so she'll be looking to try and dip inside that and hopefully be the first girl that within New Zealand has ridden under the 2:20 mark.
And on the back straight, we have Shauna Gray from Waikato Bay of Plenty, also who did an awesome ride yesterday. So the under-19 2,000 metre world record is 2:17.4, which again is quite rapid.
Yes. So that's held by Zoe Backstead, so from the famous Backstead family.
And away we go. Amelia getting on top of the gear. You can see her pulling on the handlebars, getting all that energy out.
So we can notice that these two are riding considerably bigger gears than what the previous two were riding in the bronze medal ride-off.
It just takes that little bit longer to get on top of it, but it might be beneficial later on as it helps you in the later start of the race.
And Amelia's flying off after that first lap, and she really looks like she's getting on top of it.
Yeah, Amelia is definitely out here going pretty hundies, pretty early. You can just see her legs moving really fast.
That was a 38-second 500.
I don't know if I can do a 38-second 500 just as hard as I can go.
I definitely can't do a 38-second 500. And she's actually got Shauna in her sights pretty much now, so they're basically in the same straight already.
Amelia's coming down with 4 laps to go, so we're only halfway through the race, and Amelia can probably see Shauna at the moment, so she's going to start catching her and getting in a little bit of a draft. She is just humming. And she's coming quite close now, so she's probably going to have to pass her.
Yeah, looks like she's trying to time it, so she's catching her on the straight, so makes it a little bit easier to pass.
She's trying to come around Shauna now. It's actually quite hard to pass riders in the IP. You want to time it right so you don't have to slow down, but then you also have to be careful not to cut the rider off as you come down. And now she's just powering away.
Yeah, she's riding really well as she comes through with 1 lap to go.
So she's clearly going for a time here because this is a final ride. If you catch a rider in front, the ride technically is over and you have won the race, but you can keep going, and so she's going for a time here as she comes down.
This will be interesting if she's going to dip under the 2:20 mark, Rushley. It's going to be
close.
It's
going to be close. Oh, not quite, but amazing ride from Amelia.
And again, that's her second ride that she's done inside the 2:20 mark, and a great ride by Amelia.
Yeah, kudos to both of those girls. You could tell that Amelia just was hunting that down as soon as she left the start gate, and that's an awesome display of IP riding there. Good ride from Shauna too. Very talented riders.
Yeah, both of these riders have been riding exceptionally well all this week, medaling in both the 500 and the points race. So it's great to see them sort of continue that through into the individual pursuit as well.
So up now we have the elite woman individual pursuit, which is 3K. So we're going to add 4 laps on from what we just watched.
And those 4 laps are a very long way, Rushley.
Yes, indeed. So we had some awesome rides from all of these next riders that we're going to see yesterday. A lot of PBs. I think everybody in this lineup did a PB. So here we have Prue Fowler from Waikato Bay Plenty and Ella Wiley from Auckland.
So these two were separated yesterday in the qualifying rounds by around about 0.8 of a second. So it's going to be really close to see what happens here and who's backed up the best.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that the last time these riders lined up, like they've just been doing PBs every time they line up on the track for the last few months, so we might see some more.
It's always nice when you go out and hit out an individual pursuit and you're knocking out PBs, so it definitely makes you feel really pleased with your progression and how your training's going, Rushley.
Yeah, definitely. You don't often actually get to do these individual pursuits, so when you get to line up, you kind of want to make it worthwhile and smash out a good time. And of course, it's also quite painful, so it's better just to not have to do too many of them sometimes.
So these two have been working pretty hard in the development sort of area with CNZ at the moment. So they're sort of two of the athletes that have been sort of earmarked for further things.
Yeah, this is 100% the future of women's track cycling here on the track today. So a good start from Prue there. She gets on top of the gear.
And again, we see the difference, I think, in the gears, even from what the previous heat was running to these girls. So they're definitely pushing something a little bit bigger than what Amelia and Shauna were doing in the previous heat.
So Ella's just down on her aero bars now.
And you can see both of these girls have been working really hard on trying to stay aero and hide the head behind the hands. So very well tucked up positions.
Yeah, ideally in an aero position, you can only really see about a metre in front of you, which isn't a lot. But in an IP, all you have to do is follow that black line. So yeah, again, we're wanting to see their head staying down, their back nice and flat. But unsurprisingly, as it gets harder, it's harder to hold that position.
And you can see here, Prue's actually gone out very hard, so she's taking through the first K with what looks like about a second lead.
Yeah, maybe we have some different riding styles here. Prue might have started a bit harder and Ella might be planning on using her endurance a bit more in the latter stage of the race. Prue with the advantage at the moment, coming in with 7 laps to go.
And both these girls are still looking really strong. There's no real signs of tiring, no real rocking in the shoulders or head movement. So it's good to see they're still staying on top of their ride at the moment.
Yeah, holding really good lines, both looking super aero still. So the coaches are on the inside of the track, just standing there yelling their lap times. And at some point they may move and call off the other rider. So this is a bronze medal final. So they're racing for a medal, not just a time. So you have to beat the other person to get the bronze medal.
So we're just about to come through 2K, which means there's a kilometre to go. So this is where the race really does start to get hard.
Yeah, definitely. Lungs and legs are burning right now. Prue still with the advantage.
And she's gone out really hard and it looks like she's holding on really nicely.
Yeah, sometimes that's a good tactic. If you know your strength is in the front end, you just build that speed early on and then kind of put your head down and hope you can hold it for as long as you can. And then some other riders know that their strength is in the latter stage of the race, so they start a bit slower but come home strong. As we come down, Prue's gonna see 1 to go.
Yeah, and this looks like it'll be a really good time for Prue. So I would say mid 3:30s looking at what she's sort of gone through at.
Yeah, yesterday Prue clocked a 3:38 and Ella a 3:39, so.
There we go, another PB for Prue, so 3:36, 3:61.
Yeah, awesome ride there. You could tell she went after it as soon as she got out of that start gate. So that's a bronze medal for Prue Fowler in the elite woman 3,000 metre individual pursuit. Congrats, Prue. So now lining up, we have 2 awesome riders. On the home straight, we'll have Bryony Botha, and on the back straight, we'll have Sammy Donnelly. And yesterday, we witnessed history as Bryony broke the New Zealand record, and she's going to go out there and she's going to try and do it again today. So even if she catches Sammy, the race will still continue for a time. And it's been mentioned that if Bryony breaks 3:20, her dad is going to buy her an Apple laptop. So I'm just going to say it right now that I reckon B's going to break 3:20.
Why would you not want to break 3:20 for an Apple laptop? I'm sure she's thinking about that laptop on the start line now.
Don't even worry about the record. Just go for the laptop. So here we have Bryony Botha, and on the back straight, Sammy Donnelly. So Sammy did a huge PB yesterday as well with a 3:33.
Yeah, which was a great time by Sammy, and I know she'll be looking to try and improve on that today.
So the world record for the Elite Women 3K IP is 3:16.9, held by Chloe Dygert of the USA. So you can see B, great start, maximum use of her body and her momentum as she gets up on that gear, and you can just tell it's a big gear.
And what sort of gear would Bryony be riding here, Ashley?
Well, it might be a secret, but I'm going to pick at least above a 106.
It definitely looks like a big one, but when she's on top of that, she really looks like she's humming.
Here comes Sammy. Both holding reasonably good positions. So B is probably the most aero that you could ever get.
Yeah, and you can see she spent a lot of time working and honing on that position as well.
Yeah, so the Cycling New Zealand squad have a specific bike person who sets us up in the maximal aero position. So it's all customized to us as individuals. So you can see, yeah, here B does heaps of time on her bike. She knows exactly what she has to do, exactly where to look, and she's holding that black line so well.
And the more time you spend in this position, the better you're going to go, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You do have to practice holding that. It doesn't really come naturally, especially in the latter stage of the race when everything's hurting. You just want to kind of sit up and take a big breath, but it's actually very unproductive if you do that. Okay, so Bryony's flying down the track here, and now she's in the same straight as Sammy. So we're going to see another catch pretty soon. As Bryony's sitting on above 52k an hour.
Yeah, she's definitely moving. She'll be looking for that new laptop.
Yeah, she can smell it as she comes down the straight, getting closer to Sammy. So she's going to want to pass her in the straight as she comes around her right now. And that was a beautiful pass. Passing her in the straight so she didn't have to go uphill too much into the banking. So still holding that aero position really nicely and staying on that black line as she comes down the front straight with 2 laps to go. This is an awesome ride again from both of these girls. History in the making. So B comes through, getting 1 to go.
Yeah, I think sub 320 is going to be close
Yeah,
here, looking at the
she's going to be close.
As long as she holds on, I think it's going to be pretty damn close.
Oh, she's done it.
Yeah,
Nice.
awesome. New laptop.
Awesome. So we have a New Zealand record right there. Bryony Botha, 3:19.8.
And Sammy Donnelly's
And
actually just set a PB as well. So
awesome ride from Sammy. Great riding from both of these girls. Amazing display of individual pursuit riding right there. So there we have the top 4 for the Elite Women's 3K individual pursuit. And history has just been made with Bryony Botha doing a new New Zealand record and breaking the 3:20 mark.
And that's nearly 2 seconds quicker than she rode yesterday.
Yeah, that's a really good feat right there. And now I know Bryony wants to do the individual pursuit at this year's Commonwealth Games, which are later this year in August in Birmingham in the UK. So she's targeting that as an event. Bryony went to the Tokyo Olympics last year as a part of the women's endurance track cycling squad. And the individual pursuit isn't in the Olympic Games anymore. So she's going to hunt that medal at the Com Games. And she is just taking time off every time she does this event.
And improving in that event as well, we're going to see that she'll improve that team's pursuit strength as well, especially, I think she's a number 4, is she, Rushley?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, B rides typically number 4 in the TP, but she often does double laps, triple laps, and, you know, she'll probably be doing some more laps now.
Well, in that pace, why wouldn't you be?
Yeah, phenomenal ride as we see Bryony getting off her bike now.
I'm pretty sure she looks like she hasn't ridden 3K yet.
Yeah, she looks a bit fresh for me. I'd be probably lying on the floor right now, gasping for air. Just a class rider, Bryony. Loves the endurance events.
And she's progressed really well since she sort of came in the program as a youngster, just straight out of under 19. And every year it looks like Bryony's stepped up.
Yeah, she's still pretty young too, B. Like, she's got a huge career ahead of her, and she's just been a key member of that women's team pursuit team for the last few years, and now going to take a senior rider role heading into the next Olympic build.
Because that team's pursuit team now is in a little bit of a rebuilding phase.
Yeah, a few of us retired and left to do some other things, so yeah, going to hand it over to the next generation, and I know they're in good hands. There's some good riders coming through. And then you have the likes of B and Holly and Ellie, who are all experienced and rearing to go still. But it's a quick turnaround. They've got about nearly 2 years to the next game, so time goes fast when you're having fun. So B actually isn't done for the day. She's got a points race coming up later today. So she'll be getting on her bike, wanting to flush that IP out of her legs. Maybe get some sugar in, get some nutrients in.
I'm amazed she's still walking, to be honest, but looking at her here, she's ready to get on her bike, do her sort of structured warm down, just so she's sort of recovered as best as possible and ready for the points race.
Yeah, so we worked with our team sports scientist and our coach to get specific individualized warm downs. So you each have a set plan that you do, so you get on your bike, you know exactly what you're doing. And it makes sure that you flush everything out of your legs so that you're ready to go. Often with these international events, you're racing again within 1 or 2 or 3 hours, so you really need to make sure you're able to do it all again. Just having a yarn to Emma Cumming. I'm sure she's talking about her new MacBook that she's got. So the next event in this session is the Women Under-19 Scratch Race Final. So it's going to be 30 laps for these girls.
And gee, this is a very fast turnaround for the 4 that have just ridden the individual pursuit final.
Yeah, that's a feat in itself there. Just getting off the track from one event, having a breather, getting back on.
Looking at it over there, some of the girls are still swapping their bikes over.
So scratch race is first across the line after 30 laps. So there's no points, just the first across the line, but many tactics can be used. So do you wait to the end and try and win the sprint? Do you go early and try and take a lap? What do you think is going to play out here, Andrew?
I'd like to see some aggressive racing. That's more sort of what I like to see in races. I want to see, the athletes go out there and really try and win the race and show who's boss. So
yeah, I'm all for aggressive racing myself. Also gives us lots to talk about too, if they make it exciting, don't they?
Yeah, love an exciting race. So it'll be really good to see them, take the bull by the horns and really get on with it. I think it also aggressive racing and racing hard in New Zealand really sets them up well if they're wanting to progress to sort of elite level, and then also at sort of some of these girls will be really focusing on world champs later in the year. So if they're going to perform there, they really need to show that they can perform here. And winning a sprint, I sometimes think, doesn't just show that you're ready.
Yeah, you also have to go in and play to your strengths. So no doubt some of these riders feel more confident in a sprint, and whereas some of these riders feel more confident winning from the front. So we'll see in a very short amount of time who's going to play what cards. So this is a peak event for these junior riders. As you just said, it's kind of like the opportunity to put their hand up to say, pick me for the Junior Worlds Champs, which are later this year. And the Junior Worlds are also always a peak event for the juniors around the world. New Zealand's had a pretty good run at them in the past.
Yeah, New Zealand's had a lot of success in both the male and female categories at Junior Worlds. So every year they seem to sort of pull out some phenomenal rides and really deliver at that sort of peak event.
As they line up now, all lining up along the fence.
So here we have Amelia Sykes, Sammy Walker, Madison Lowry, Cara Kelly, B. Townsend, Pearl Harris Blaine,
Shauna Gray, Georgia Simpson, Belle Judd, Ruby Bath, Molly Hayes, Emma Blackmore, Anna Letchett, Tegan Ferringer, and Charlotte Earle. So a good field here, lots of riders as they roll out for their neutral lap.
So they'll be looking to bunch up before the start so that everyone's as close as they can together, so everyone's getting a sort of a fair opportunity on the track.
So we have a few riders here, all from the same clubs. So what do you think is going to happen here? Do you think they're going to ride as a team, or is this all an individual event?
There's no collusion, is there, Ashley?
No, never.
But realistically, it's pretty hard when you've got different riders with their own personal goals, and then obviously you've got like mates that you ride with every day. So you don't want to be seen chasing down, your mate that you ride with 2 days a week for 52 weeks of the year. So that can ruin friendships very quickly. So hopefully we're going to see some good riding and some smart riding by these races.
Yeah, it can be challenging times out there. Like you just said, you don't want to chase your teammate down or your friend down, but at the end of the day, it's a national championships on the line, and if you want to win, then you have to put your hand up and say, hey, I want to win this race, and go out there and get it. So we'll see what happens. Just rolling through now. Everyone's doing a bit of a turn on the front and lapping up.
Yeah, I think the four that just rode the individual pursuit will be just warming up, so they've probably just got their bikes changed and straight on the track.
Yeah, they probably just want to clear their legs a little bit maybe. So on the scratch race, you can pick your own gear. So all of these girls will be riding a different gear.
And gear choice is a pretty personal thing, but it's also a really important thing. So if you make a mistake, you can't change it halfway around the race. So you definitely don't want to find that you've mistakenly put a 102 on in a points race when you were trying to ride a 96.
Yeah, that would be a bit of a brutal happening.
Good strength work though, Ashley.
I think it's happened before, actually. So just a bunch at the moment. They're all keeping pretty close together, keeping an eye on one another. As they come through with 25 laps to go.
Yeah, at the moment the pace is pretty sedate, so everyone will be sort of pretty comfortable with the pace that's going on here. So it'll be interesting to see if someone's willing to take the race by the scruff of the neck and try and make the race.
Oh, we can see some girls winding it up. So Amelia on the front, just looking around, keeping an eye on things.
Yeah, and the pace definitely picked up a little bit now, so hopefully we're going to see a little bit more action go on.
Yeah, the scratch race can be a bit of a nerve-wracking event. You kind of have to play your cards, but you don't know what other people are doing and don't want to use your matches too early. So just coming down the home straight with 21 laps to go.
So if you weren't one of the girls here with the faster finish, Ashley, what would your plan be?
Well, I was never a girl with a faster finish, so I can tell you that I would be looking for attack, maybe multiple attacks. The magic number is within 10 laps to go. So you want to be looking to get a gap with about 10 to 7 laps to go, because that's when people tend to hesitate. They don't want to put themselves out there because it might not work. They want to save themselves for the sprint finish.
Yeah, and then everyone gets so worried that they don't want to chase. As it looks like Sammy Walker's just going to light it up now, which is a pretty aggressive move and a good move.
Yeah, we've got an attack down the back. You can see some hesitation in the bunch.
And probably two of the heavy favourites, Shauna Gray and Amelia Sykes, are still back in the bunch. So maybe sort of a bit of a safe place for some of these girls that are following them, because I don't think they'll let that go.
Yeah, it's a big long line of riders now. Now we've got a Canterbury rider laying it down on the front.
Yeah, she's just quite closely followed by Georgia Simpson there. And just the pace has just gone out of the bunch now.
Yeah, you can see they're looking at each other quite a lot, this group. Following each other closely, not really willing to let anybody go just yet. Now they're all just biding their time a little bit. Who's going to attack next as we come down the home straight with 15 laps to go? Just looking around.
Now's the time where you may be able to even just roll off the front without anyone sort of taking any notice of what's going on.
Compact bunch now. As we see Shauna Gray going for an attack. The rest of the bunch are on her quickly though. She did well trying to use the height of the track to gain maximum speed.
Just coming through now with 13 laps to go, so that sort of magical 10 laps to go number's not far away. So we'll see if any of them have been subconsciously listening to Rushley and will follow her instructions. Not bad instructions as well. Here's Sammy Walker having another dig off the front. So she's been definitely pretty aggressive in this scratch race. And
yeah, we've got a gap now with these two girls.
Is that Molly Hayes with her?
Yeah, they're getting a good gap, these girls.
They definitely need to commit though, so when a gap like this, but it is being pulled back, so there's an Auckland rider on the front looking to shut this down with Maddie Lowry.
It's all back together with 10 laps to go. As they just look at each other. Everyone goes up the track a little bit. I'd love to see an attack right about now.
Yeah, as the paces come out just after attack, it's usually the best place to go. So hopefully some of them are thinking the same thing.
Yeah, you want to use that surprise factor. You want to have the maximum speed as the bunch is slowing down. That way you get maximum gains the quickest. But they all seem pretty content just to watch each other at the moment. Also we've got some Auckland riders on the front. Emma Blackmore, just looking around. They're all riding pretty high on the track. Amelia Sykes taking them down to the black line.
Just about looks like we're in the warm-up.
Yeah, they're embracing the casual pace at the moment, but that's okay. So we come in with 7 laps to go, and some of the girls are getting out of their seats, giving it a go.
And it looks like some of these girls are looking to park up on wheels now, so pick their favourite wheel and just follow that wherever it goes. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, it's a bit of a fight out there for which wheel you want to be on. This is when it gets a bit nerve-wracking in a scratch race. You want to pick what wheel you're on. You want to line up your run to the finish, so people can get a bit nervous as they're trying to hold the wheel that they want, but also make sure that they can get out if an attack goes.
There you go, there's a move from Sammy Walker. She's having another crack at them. So this is really good stuff from Sammy, and she's obviously taken some valuable advice from Rushley Buchanan. So she'll be trying to create a little bit of a gap with 5 to go.
Yeah, it's good initiative there. She could see everybody was hesitating a bit.
Looks like Belle Judd just hit the front there as well.
Now it's a long line, coming down the home straight with 4 laps to go.
Yeah, and probably the 2 race favourites are riding second to last and third to last. So they've definitely got a little bit of work to do with 4 to go.
Yeah, Amelia Sykes down the back there on the inside, so that's an interesting position to...
Yes, and if Shauna's really smart here, she should be looking to take a flyer while Amelia's trapped in.
Well, they quickly move to the front, so now we have 3 to go. So I'm going to say it's going to be a sprint finish.
I would definitely say it's a sprint finish.
So we should see them starting to wind it up soon. Everyone wants to get in that good position. Coming in with 2 to go.
Looks like everyone's just riding, 4 or 5 wide. So
all watching each other. Who's going to go first?
If Amelia's smart, she'll park them on their hip and hopefully hold them the way round.
Yeah, Amelia's got prime position down there on the inside line as she gets out of her seat.
She's probably just hit out a little bit too early, so it'll be just interesting to see what happens here.
Yeah, we got a long lap to go, long sprint with Amelia leading. Shauna Gray just behind her.
So Shauna looks like she's just going to run off that wheel. She's running it quite hard here, but Amelia having another kick at her. So
it's coming down the line.
Shauna's got her. So that's a good ride by Shauna Gray.
Yeah, really, really well-timed sprint there. Gave it all to the line, just came over with just enough time. So here we can see in the replay, Shauna is giving it everything to come over Amelia. These 2 girls at the front, you can see their elbows out, giving it everything. Here we have 1 and 2. Shauna Gray and Amelia Sykes.
And 1 and 2 is what they've been in every event they've done together so far. So
yep, they have a few medals among those 2 girls. They've had a great week. And later today, they have another bunch race. We'll see them all line up again in the elimination. So now, the next event of this session is the Elite Woman Kieran first round. So we have the motorbike, as you can see, sitting on the back straight down there.
And here are the results for the scratch race. So Shauna Gray taking that one out from Amelia Sykes, Cara Kelly in 3rd, so a really good ride by her. Maddie Lowry in 4th, B Townsend 5th, Molly Hayes 6th, Georgia Simpson 7th, and Anna Lachey in 8th.
So we have 2 heats coming up with 4 riders each.
And it looks like Emma Cumming for this one's drawn number 1, so she'll be on the bike.
So we go, Emma coming on the inside.
With Elise Andrews and Sammy Donnelly, who no doubt will be looking to park up on Elise Andrews for the sprint. And Gutane Venter, who went third in the elite women's sprints the other day.
This is a pretty stacked heat right here. All of these girls, awesome riders. So this is Sammy's second event of the session. As we watch the bike coming around, and they're going to get the gun as the bike comes underneath them.
And this, of course, is the event that Elise Andrews medalled at the recent Tokyo Olympics.
Yeah, awesome ride there from Elise at the Tokyo Olympics.
So she's just making her way back from a crash she had with, I think it was a broken collarbone, was it, Rushley?
Yeah, unfortunately she crashed at the Cambridge 3-day a few months ago, but great to see her back here on her bike. So the bike now comes through at 30k an hour, and then it gradually increases, and we'll drop these girls off at 50k an hour. So Sammy, sitting in third, got second in this event last year, and Elise got third. So you can see Elise laying off the Emma's wheel right now.
So the bike should be looking to pull off this lap.
Yeah, so the bike does 3 laps, and then the girls do 3 laps themselves. You can see Emma sitting on the front there, turning around, watching these riders. They're all looking as Elise makes her move to lead from the front. So we've got Elise, Emma, Elise is winding it out, leading from the front, taking control of the race. Just watching behind her, you can see her looking often. We're in the last lap now.
At this speed, it's going to be very hard for anyone to even change their position.
Yeah, just a big line out.
And that's the way the results stay.
With Elise Andrews taking the win for that heat.
And from Emma Cumming and Gutane Venter. So those 3 will look like they'll go through to make the final. So we're just about to head in. Oh, here's the results actually. So Elise Andrews taking that out. So she led from the front, from Emma Cumming and Gutane Venter. Sammy Donnelly coming in 4th.
So now we have heat 2 lining up. Another 4 riders. So we see them getting on their bikes on the fence, and then their coaches will roll them up into position. So right there we have Rosita Hendry from Auckland, and I recently learnt that she used to work in the circus.
Very different to bike riding.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. Rapid rise in her cycling career here.
Yeah, and just such a different sort of thing versus cycling. So she's transitioned really well.
Yeah, awesome to see her here, giving it everything, getting amongst it as they line up. So we have Rosita down the bottom.
And that's Erin Downey in second there. With Olivia King. And then Nicole Marshall taking 4th position. So Rosita will have to take the bike as it comes through, with Erin slotting behind her. So they'll take the bike in the order that they are starting in.
So to get this order, before the race, they randomly draw cards to see what spot they pick. As the bike comes through, picks them up. 6 laps to go. So we have Rosita on the bike. Probably hitting about 40k an hour now. So they'll have one more lap on the bike, and then it's all up to them.
So the bike's off this lap. And definitely now's the time with such a small heat that you don't really want to be caught on the back. It makes it very hard to get around, especially if one of the faster girls, like it's happening now, Olivia King, gets to the front and decides to ride a strong tempo. Virtually no one can change their position.
Yeah, so Olivia King there's just taking control of the race, wants to lead from the front.
Erin Downey's just parked up on her wheel, which is a good place to be. It looks like if she really lets go, then Erin's going to get towed through.
Coming out with 1 to go. So we've got Nicole Marshall's trying to come around the outside as Erin Downey tries to find that space to get through.
Yeah, and looking at that, Nicole doesn't necessarily need to do that, so she's going to just qualify through quite nicely.
So top 3 through to the next round. With Olivia King taking the win in that heat. So we have 3 riders. Here's the replays. We see Olivia King leading it out. The other 2 trying to come around her, but just not enough speed to get around her. But they all make it through to the next round. So see Olivia King rolling down after a win at the heat of the Kieran.
So I'm really looking forward to the final and that a little bit later. So it's sort of putting a who's who of New Zealand women sprinting at the moment against each other. So I think it'll be quite a good battle between all of those ladies.
Yeah, so their finals coming up later this session. So now the next event that we have coming up in this block of racing is the Women Under-19 semi-final. So we saw them earlier do the qualifying ride. Now they get to race against each other.
So first up we've got qualifier 1, which is Gemma Cordery, and she is racing Pearl Harris Blaine. So it looks like Gemma's drawn number 1 for this race, which means that she has to lead unless it's taken off her for at least the first half of a lap.
So this event's 3 laps. So they'll start probably pretty slow, looking at each other. So this event is best of 3. So this is the first ride.
Looks like we're just waiting for a puncher for Gemma. She'll be looking to change out one of her wheels just before the start. Not ideal prep, but something that every sort of good athlete has to deal with in their time racing.
Yeah, better to happen now than when you're out there on the track. So we'll just wait for her to get a wheel change before we get into it.
And did you ever ride the sprints at Nationals, Rushley?
Well, I did ride the sprints at Nationals way back when I was an under 17.
And how'd they go for you?
I actually podiumed.
You sound very surprised by that,
Yeah,
Rosie.
yeah. Well, I only have one tactic, and that's to go from the gun. So.
What's that saying we commonly use? If in doubt, lead it out.
Yeah. I endurance rode the sprints.
It's all right. And if you're racing sprinters, they'll be tired after 2 laps.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it obviously worked.
That was well before we had 2 indoor velodromes in New Zealand, though. So.
Be rocking out at Manukau Velodrome and Cue Bowl and Invercargill.
Mosgiel.
Yep, was it Sedum Velodrome or out in Mosgiel? I can't remember
The old
the name
concrete tracks.
I remember when Mosgiel was first built, it was like state of the art.
Oh, it was back then.
Yeah. Still didn't help me go any faster though, that's the problem.
Yeah, come on, we're not that old.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Maybe to some of these riders, but...
When I look at some of the kids out there, I'm just about old enough to be their dad. So,
Right, we have had a quick wheel change, ready to go. So these riders, you can see Gemma there, just getting her foot strapping correct. So the sprinters often have their foot strapped into their pedals. So they definitely know their foot won't come out of the pedals because they often do explosive power, and you want to make sure everything stays in place.
So Gemma has changed her front wheel there. So she's actually changed from a tri-spoke to a 5-spoke. So personally, I think probably a slightly better wheel choice for sprinting. Makes the wheel a little bit stiffer. So
now they have the exact same wheel set.
Yeah. Well, there's no advantage in wheels then, is there? They look like they're running exactly the same tyres, which looked like their Vittoria Pista Speeds, which is one of CNZ's major sponsors. So big ups to Vittoria there. I'd say about 90% of the athletes here are riding those. So the team at Vittoria and Cycle Sport will be very pleased about that.
As they roll off, 3 laps to go. So Gemma's taking the lead, looking behind her. So you have to keep your eyes open in this event. You want to watch the other person's every single move. You don't want to let them get an inch.
And it looks like Gemma's quite comfortable letting Pearl take the front there. So she's obviously backing her speed and her sort of local knowledge of the track to help her take the win. She's giving her a little bit of room there as well.
Yeah, it looks like Gemma's wanting to use the track. Going up, staying up high.
Yeah, she's got a massive advantage here unless Pearl cuts her off quickly, which she's failed to do.
And we're coming in with 1 to go as Gemma, they both get out of their seat. Trying to use the speed off the banking, and Gemma's got the advantage.
So Pearl's going to really have to run at her hard if she's going to have a chance of coming back, but I don't think she's closing up fast enough here.
Yep, Gemma comes down and takes the win in ride number 1 of the semi-finals.
So it'll be interesting to see the different tactics that Pearl tends to develop or put into place in the next round. So she's just behind, so one ride to nil. So, but looking at it, I think if she rides a little bit smarter and plays to her strengths a little bit more, she may be able to sort of push Gemma quite close there.
Yeah, so these riders will go away, think about it, and then we'll see them out here again, riding each other. So here we have 2 Waikato riders lining up against each other. Jessica Schuler and Sophie DeVry. So we've got Sophie on the Cervelo. Being pushed up now.
So she's being pushed up by Finn Cullinan, who's one of the coaches in the sprint program at the moment. And theoretically, this should be the closest race out of these two semi-finals because both these girls qualified closely together. So you've got the second versus third qualifier here.
As they get pushed off, 3 laps to go.
And there's no death stare there, Rushley. So normally what we see is the sprinters just like steering into each other, a little bit of intimidation tactics. These two were just looking straight ahead.
Yeah, pretty serious start there. Just keeping their eyes ahead of them. As you see Sophie going up the track, using the height of the track to gain some momentum. Both of these girls ride this track a lot. They're going to know where to get the maximum speed.
So at the moment with the height Sophie's got, so she's got a little bit of an advantage rolling down if Jess tends to or wants to go a little bit earlier. It looks like she's just going to roll underneath her and push her up into the towards the fence and just hold her high.
Yeah, good tactics here from Sophie, keeping her high. As you can see, they're both starting to wind it up.
This
coming
looks like
into one
it's
to
going
go.
to be a drag race, Rushley.
Both get out of the seat, coming down. Hear the bell. Sophie takes the inside line.
So Jess is definitely running at her now, so it's just interesting if Sophie can kick again and get her on her hip, which she has.
Going to be a bit of a drag race to the finish line as they've both got their elbows out, both going all the way to the line.
Looks like a very close race there, but it looks like Sophie held that one out.
As we just watch a replay here. So they both got their elbows out, trying to go all the way to the line. Looks like Sophie just got it there. And the red bike, as we watch them rolling around. So Sophie there with the win in race number 1 of the semi-final. So they'll be back out again in a few moments to do race number 2. So the winners of these races that we've just watched go to the gold, silver ride. Other riders proceed to the bronze medal ride.
And that battle there between the two of them looks like it's going to be pretty epic for that number 2 ride. So they were very, very closely matched and look like they're sort of pretty much on par for speed. So I think tactics are going to play a massive part here.
Yeah, sometimes it's a disadvantage riding someone that you know so well from your same region. You ride the same track. You're going to have to really, really use those tactics. With the hugs.
It's good, congratulating your friends, and it's nice to see, you know, their enemies on the bike, but friends off it. So, you know, and these are sort of friendships that a lot of these ladies and girls will sort of form for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, for sure. As we watch the girls getting ready for a medal presentation here.
So just coming up after these medal presentations, we've still got a jam-packed schedule. So we've got the second ride in the sprint semi-final, the under-19 sprint semi-final. We've got the elite women's Kieran final, and then also the first ride in the under-19 women's sprint final. So it's pretty jam-packed here. So we'll be really looking forward to some hard racing and some close racing. In Rushley coming up, we've got one of your favourite events, the points race. So it's something that you've sort of excelled at over the years. So what are you expecting to see with the Elite Women's Points Race?
Yeah, did love a good points race. You know, there's no surprises that my tactics were usually to get a lap or two. So I'd love to see the race blow apart. People going off the front, attacking again. It is a small field later today, so yeah, it's going to be a pretty gnarly race for these girls. But I'd love to see some surprise moves, some unexpected things, you know.
And we've got the mean machine that is Bryony Botha looking to try and take her, I think it's 4th gold medal, is it, for this event. So she'll be really, really sort of hungry for that points race as well, won't she?
Yeah, I wonder if Dad's got a prize for the points race. If she gets a 4th medal and a points race win, surely she gets an iPhone.
I don't know. Or maybe she needs a carry bag for that new MacBook Air. So we're giving her ideas there. So no doubt she'll be on the phone soon to Dad to try and incentivise that race.
Yeah, surely Dad's watching. Come on, Papa Feist.
Ladies and gentlemen, the award ceremony for the 2022 Track National Championship Under-19 Women's Individual Pursuit will now take place. Would like to invite Dr. Monica Robbers, Cycling New Zealand CEO, to present the medals. In 3rd place, and the winner of the bronze medal, representing Auckland, B. Townsend. In second place, and the winner of the silver medal, representing Waikato Bay of Plenty, Shauna Gray. And in first place, and the winner of the gold medal, and the recipient of a national jersey, your 2022 Under-19 Women's Individual Pursuit National Champion, representing Canterbury, Amelia Sykes. Amelia also receives a Sarah Ulmer Cup and a native plant from our proud sponsors, Amber Garden Centre. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us and show your appreciation for our Under-19 Women's Individual Pursuit National Champion podium. Ladies and gentlemen, the award ceremony for the 2022 Track National Championship Elite Women's Individual Pursuit will now take place. Dr. Monica Robbers will present the trophy, the medals. In 3rd place, and the winner of the bronze medal, representing Waikato Bay of Plenty, Prudence Fowler. In 2nd place, and the winner of the silver medal, representing Canterbury, Sammy Donnelly. And in 1st place, and the winner of the gold medal, and the recipient of a national jersey, your 2022 Elite Women's Individual Pursuit National Champion, representing Waikato Bay of Plenty, Bryony Botha. And Bryony will also receive, for the very first time presenting it, the Kirsty Klingenberg Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us and show your appreciation for our elite women's individual pursuit national champion podium. Ladies and gentlemen, the award ceremony for the 2022 Track National Championship Under-19 Women's Scratch Race will now take place. The medals will once again be presented by Dr. Monica Robbers. In third place, and the winner of the bronze medal, representing Southland, Kiara Kelly. In second place, and the winner of the silver medal, representing Canterbury, Amelia Sykes. And in first place, and the winner of the gold medal, and your 2022 Under-19 Women's Scratch Race National Champion, representing Waikato Bay of Plenty, Shauna Gray. Shauna also receives a National Champions jersey and a native plant from our proud sponsors, Amber Garden Centre. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us and show your appreciation for our place getters in the Under-19 Women's Scratch Race National Championship.
So congratulations to all those athletes, phenomenal rides there. We're just setting up now for the Under-19 women's final ride, so in the sprints. So that's assuming that they take it in 2 rides rather than being taken to 3.
Yeah, quick turnaround there for these girls.
Yeah, with how difficult it's been to do the program here, Rushley, they've really done a fantastic job getting this this event underway and sort of managing the protocols they need to put into place.
Yeah, awesome just to be here racing.
And so many of these athletes have missed out on so much over their time, so especially the under-19s and under-17s coming through, they've really had no events for a couple of years. So we're just passing over to Bryony Botha, who looks like she's going to be interviewed, so we'll just pass over.
And we're going to catch up with our new elite women's individual pursuit champion and national record holder. Smashed it, B.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked. It was weird because I didn't really expect to be able to do a 3:19 today, but everybody else had full faith in me, so it's cool to have like a massive support behind me, knowing that I could do it before I could.
Yeah, well, yesterday in qualifying, I think it was 3:21, and that blew us all, and we were like really proud of that. And I understand your dad promised you a new MacBook Pro if you went under 3:20, so looks like Dad's buying something new tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah, he actually came up with that deal on his own, so he's only got himself to blame for that.
And so when you go 3:18, what do you think the next deal would be?
Oh, I don't know. I've actually always wanted a new fridge. My dad will get that joke, but yeah, maybe he'll buy me a new fridge.
And you've had a fantastic competition. Talk us through this week and what's that meant for you to be sort of on this sort of form, leading into something that is really important with Oceanias as well.
Yeah, I think it's real good. I did come into last week feeling a bit tired, so being able to come out of that and performing here this week has been real good, and just feel real excited for Oceania's in a couple of weeks' time.
Awesome, and congratulations. And I know Sarah was really proud that you've actually broken that record over the last couple of months, so well done on that.
Cool, thank you so much.
So good chat there from Bryony after a national record as we watch these under-19 women line up for their second sprint of the semi-final.
So their positions are reversed from the previous race. So you've got Pearl Harris Blaine on riding at 1, and Gemma Corduroy is riding at number 2.
So Gemma took the win in the first ride. So if she takes the win again here, she goes straight to the gold medal final. So Pearl will want to avoid that happening. As they roll away. We're going to see similar tactics, different tactics. Pearl looking around.
So
Gemma riding high.
Yeah, Gemma's just tracking sort of what Pearl's doing now, so just making sure that she's got a really sort of close watch on her, and obviously going higher, she gets the jump if Pearl decides to go.
The Pearl's having to watch, constantly look around, make sure she doesn't miss Gemma's jump. Gemma just gets out of her seat. As we come in to the bell lap, it's going to be a bit of a drag race down low.
It'll be interesting to see when Gemma tries to pass, so very early.
Yeah,
but
trying to come around now, using the banking maybe, get a little bit extra speed. She just gets the advantage now.
Yeah, and Gemma does that right in 2, so she'll be straight to the final. And Pearl will be off to the bronze medal ride.
So not done yet, these girls. Still got some more rides later today.
So for the under-19s, they've still got the elimination after the sprints. So
Big day out here.
And just confirming that result there with Gemma Corduroy taking that victory.
So now we have semi-final number 2 coming up with Jessica Schuler and Sophie DeVry again, both from Waikato Bay Plenty. And we saw a really tight finish there in the previous ride from these girls, so could be another exciting drag race.
Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be who's got the better tactics. I think they're so closely matched that if someone makes a mistake or is not quite on their game, they're going to pay for it.
So Sophie there, hopping on the Cervelo. Sophie opting not for the strap pedals. As Finn pushes her up.
Maybe she's a closet enduro.
Always welcoming more enduros. She's got the full sprint gloves on. As Jess gets pushed up. Going for no gloves. So swapping positions.
And as we notice here, no death stare between these two, so they're all focused on what they're doing and what their ride's going to involve. So
roll off. Sophie taking the lead.
And
looking behind her.
she led the last one out from the front as well, Rushley. So she'll be, I would say, trying to hold that position, just judging by her tactics in the previous round.
So she's pretty much riding and looking behind her the whole time.
Home knowledge of the track is a really good thing in these events.
Yeah, despite, you know, most international velodromes being indoor, 250 metres, all on the same wood, it can actually vary quite a lot. The banking, steepness, the corner. Just getting out of her seat, getting some speed, high on the track. Similar tactics to what we saw earlier.
It's exactly the same lead
Riding
up, isn't
high.
it?
Coming in with 1 to go.
Oh, she's going to roll over safe this time though, I think.
Oh yeah, Sophie's going to have to come around now.
It looks like she's missed the jump and just about thrown it away already, I think. So that's going to go to 3.
Jess with the win in that ride number 2. So they're 1 each now.
And as we saw there, just a slight miss on the jump from Sophie, and she paid for it. So this is how close these two are. So the third round is really going to be very interesting.
Yeah, good example of like how you need to not give an inch in these sprints. You need to be right on it when your competitor goes. So just see Jess there rolling down after the win in the semi-final. So now we're going to have a short break so we can give these two girls a rest period before they have to come up and do it again.
So they're going to have a third ride off. So this is definitely the one where the nerves start going. So it's where you can really make yourself and make the final, or you really sort of go down to the bronze ride. So these girls will definitely be wanting to fight for that.
Yeah, do you reckon it's an advantage now for the other two girls who have only done 2 rides, and these girls are going to have to do 3 rides now?
Yeah, a lot of this will come down to the endurance of the athlete. So I would say Gemma's definitely got an advantage, and so's Pearl. Just having 1 less ride in the legs, so a little bit fresher, and I think rearing and ready to go. Whereas these two will have 3 rides in their legs.
You can see the old walk down the stairs doesn't look too easy right now, so she's going to want to recover fast.
No, I definitely feel tired just looking at that one. So Jess will be trying to recover as fast as she can there, because she'll be wanting to put her best foot forward for this next race.
Yeah, so a really tight packed schedule for these girls. They've got qualifying, semi-final and a final all within a few hours today. Usually it's over a day or even 2 days, so they've really been challenged here.
And because the events are so compact or so tight, you can sometimes see some different results than what you'd normally expect, especially in the sprint events. So a lot of it becomes down to how they back up, how fit they are, and we saw that I think in the elite men's sprints. Quite a few of them were running for trash cans after a few races, and they had their heads in the bucket. So that's just how you're dealing with the pressures of the sprints and the lactic acid build-up as well.
Yeah, the recovery really comes into play on days like this, doesn't it? You want to be sure that you can recover fast from maximal effort.
And especially as you've got so many rounds, like if you get taken to 3 here, as we saw Jess there before, you know, she was definitely feeling that effort, and it was a phenomenal ride that she did in that last round. So, you know, she'll be just really trying to, you know, recover in this short 10-minute break.
Yeah, so probably get on their bike, just spin it out a little bit, think about their tactics for the next one. So then later today we also have the Kieran finals, the women under 19 elimination, and the women elite points race. So some pretty exciting racing to go.
And what one are you looking forward to most, Rushley?
Well, I always love watching eliminations. I don't necessarily love being in an elimination.
Yeah, it tends to create quite a little bit of a claustrophobic atmosphere. So everyone is in everyone's personal space, and the bikes are very close together. So traditionally you see people that are very good in bike handling either take out the win or ride really well in good positions, and traditionally the Kiwis are pretty good at that. You would see that from especially the elite men, the Aaron Gates and the Campbell Stewarts of this world. But then you also have to be fast and be able to get through the gaps and make sure you're not the last one out.
Yeah, for the elimination, you only often have to go through gaps that don't exist, so you just got to make them. And people come up with different tactics. Do you lead it from the front? Do you play the devil and lead it from the back and try and pip people off every lap? So it'll be interesting to see who adopts what tactic here. In an elimination, you've got to constantly be moving. There is no standing still. You're always moving in the bunch.
And definitely that last tactic, when you're sitting at the back trying to ride around the last rider every time, you are playing with fire. It's very easy to be sort of trapped in the wrong position. So you often see riders be able to do that for a certain period of time, and then they tend to get caught out. Traditionally, it's the riders that are sort of very cagey and smart, sitting sort of in the top 3 or top 4 and willing to fight for their position, that sort of come out on top.
Yeah, you have to be looking all the time. In all of these events coming up, really, in the sprint and in the Kieran and the elimination, you constantly have to know where your competitors are, what they're doing. Are they coming over you? Can you hold them at your hip? Are they underneath you? Are you boxed in?
And so much of that comes down to spatial awareness as well, isn't it? And I think the more you do these type of races, the better that you get at them and the more experience you get. So you tend to learn this as you go, and you can really only learn some of the stuff by racing them.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely need to ingrain that tactic in you, constantly be looking, and that's something that we worked on as a squad in training. Just do bunch race training, and Ross would be inside in the infield counting how many times each of us looked, and you have to hit a specific target. So sometimes it feels awkward at the beginning. You're like, do I really need to look this many times? But then you go to an international event and you're in a field of 24 riders, and it's a huge increase from a field like we're seeing here today, like under 10 riders, and you just need to be constantly aware and know what's going on. So it's a good skill to have.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know, you actually medalled at the World Champs in the Omnium, and elimination was part of that. So how did you find that riding at a World Champs level, Rushley?
Yeah, I have done a few eliminations, and I don't really hate them, but they are quite a nerve-wracking event because I feel like you can never predict exactly what's going to happen, whereas in another bunch race you kind of always were able to go in with a specific tactic or 2 or 3 and kind of play your cards a bit more wide open, but the elimination you just had to be on from the get-go. So yeah, I did the Omnium for a few World Championships, and won a bronze medal in 2018 at the Worlds. So that elimination was hectic. There was a few lie downs, but I managed to stay upright. So yeah, it's good life experiences.
And I definitely remember the points race in that race, and you were definitely the hammer in that points race and not the nail. So that's really what got you up, and we've got the points race coming up for the elite woman as well. Yeah,
as I said before, love a good points race, love going out there and trying to get laps and gain points. And it's always fun when you're the hammer, not the nail, but some days you're the nail and you just have to make do with what you've got. And I think we're seeing a lot of faster races now in track cycling, especially in the standalone points race. Everybody's just getting way faster, and no one wants to let each other go. You see that in the Omniums at the Olympic Games. Like, everybody's constantly watching each other, and it's becoming a really sprint-heavy event. So you can go in there with the tactic to take laps, but you always need to have a backup plan, and you always need to get into a points race. I remember once someone yelled at me in a points race, get more points. And I thought, well, obviously, but it's actually a really good tactic, and it's something that you constantly need to think, because you could lose a points race by 1 point, and if you've just set out one sprint, there you go. So there we go. There's my motivational quote: get more points.
Yeah, very simple, isn't it, Ashley? Sometimes it's easier said than done, though, isn't it? So you see, like, I think the accumulation type sort of tactic in the points race is really crucial. You want to try and sort of place yourself there or thereabouts for every sprint, and even if you're just nipping the single point every time, it does tend to sort of sneak up on you, and all of a sudden you've found you've got 5 or 6 points, and then hopefully you can throw yourself in the mix if you take a lap, and then you sort of can really try and take the win, hopefully.
Yeah, different strategies, eh? Do you go for the win early? Do you try and take those early points, or do you bide your time and hope you're going to gather points later? Again, it's a race of recovery. There's sprints every 10 laps, so you've got to be able to recover fast, change your tactics. Are you going to sprint the exact same way? Are you going to line it up differently?
And you're seeing it now, I think, at the elite level especially, like a lot of especially in the women's side of things and in the men's as well, like a lot of the athletes that are now racing track at the top level are riding World Tour Road. Do you think that's made a big difference to the speed and the ability for each athlete to recover during the points races and also in the team's pursuits and things like that?
Yeah, 100%. You need a huge foundation for these endurance events on the track. And yeah, as I just said, everything's getting faster. Everybody's riding bigger gears. It's the sport is progressing so fast, and it's becoming a real. You have to really be specific about what you target. We saw at least a woman at the Olympic Games last year, the development of the races, the team pursuit. Is a pretty new event in the Olympics, and teams are just getting faster and faster, and we don't really know what we're capable of yet as a women's event. And we just saw the first women's Madison in Tokyo, and that was also very hectic. But yeah, the girls that really excelled are the ones that are on the road, getting a huge foundation under them, and you're just racing at your max limit pretty much every weekend. So yeah, it's racing that pushes you past your limits that you don't even know you have when you're training.
Yeah, and that's some really good advice. So you want to be able to do some good base work as well. Looks like we're heading to the third ride in the sprint now. So as we see the riders getting pushed up to the fence.
Yeah, so quick turnaround for these girls. Back up for their third ride. So the winner of this ride will go to the gold medal final. As we see Sophie there lining up.
So we've got Sophie de Vries already on the line, so she's eager and ready to go. We're just waiting for Jess Schuler to be pushed up, and here we go now. So it looks like she's drawn 2 and Sophie's drawn 1 for this round, so they redraw after their second ride.
Off we go. Sophie leading again. Looking back.
So you can see at the moment, Jess not giving Sophie a lot of space, but she's just sort of ducking up the track just so she can keep a watchful eye on her. And it doesn't look like Jess really wants to take the front in this one, Rushley.
Yeah, she definitely wants that position at the back so she can watch what Sophie's doing.
And we saw in that last round where Jess actually got the jump from behind and left sort of Sophie floundering a little bit. So I think she'll be trying to play pretty similar tactics.
Yeah, Sophie's going to want to make sure that she keeps her eye on Jess so Jess doesn't get the jump this time, as they both go high on the track.
And definitely when they're this high, Jess has got the advantage at the moment, so she's got more roll off the banking. So Sophie's just trying to hold her into the fence there. So just cover her enough that she can't jump.
Pretty similar tactics to what we just saw as they come both down with 1 lap to go again.
Yeah, and Jess has got the jump over again, so this doesn't bode well for Sophie unless she can sort of try and make up, and she's running at her really well
She
now.
is coming back. Trying to come around her in the corner. It's a hard task. So both all the way to the finish line. Nice ride, girls.
Super close there. I think Sophie may have just edged that out.
Yeah, really good race to the finish line from both of them. Here in the replay, we see Sophie running at the wheel, stepping out, trying to come around her in the corner. Both giving it everything, elbows out, all the way to the line.
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
super
it's gonna be
tight, isn't
close.
it? Yeah.
So we're going to leave that up to the judges and see what they say.
And there we go. It's just popped up on the scoreboard. So Sophie de Vries takes it out in 2-1 over Jess Schuler. So she'll go to the gold medal ride. So against Gemma Cordori, and then Jess Schuler will race Pearl Harris Blaine for the bronze medal.
Yeah, so we got Sophie here rolling around on the Cervelo, winner of the 3rd ride and the semi-final and through to the gold medal ride.
How much do you think endurance would have played a part in that, Rushley?
I think the fact that they just had to line up 3 times, like pretty rapid succession, that's definitely a little bit endurance. Like I said before, these are pretty quick fire sprints for these girls. It's not a huge session, so we're banging them out pretty fast. So we can see the bike on the track there, getting ready for the women's Kieran final as they start rolling up. So this is the elite woman Kieran final.
So some really strong riders here. Looks like, is it Elise Andrews has drawn 1, Erin Downey's in 2.
So we've got 3 Southland riders here.
Yeah, Nicole Marshall is in 3. Looks like Gerdine Venter in 4. Emma Cumming in 5.
Livy King up the top.
So there's 2 sprint squad members are riding at 1 and 6. So they're definitely going to have very different tactics there.
So 6 riders, 6 laps, 3 behind the bike, 3 on their own as the bike comes around. Pick them up at 30k an hour.
So just a reminder that the riders have to take the starting order from what they drew before they lined up. So if you drew line number 1, then you've got to take the bike. Number 2 obviously takes 2nd place and so on. It's not until you've done, I think it's a lap, that you can change that. So we may see that some of these riders are not happy with the positions they've drawn. I would suspect Olivia King may be one of them, and she will make a move before the bike pulls off.
Yes, so we've got Elise Andrews on the bike, and she tends to like to lead these Kierans out. So we'll see if she's going to have to fight for her position as the bike comes around. 4 to go.
And I think this probably suits Elise and some of her attributes, because she was actually originally more from a pursuit background, wasn't she? So leading it out is, and showing that she can hold power and sustain power makes quite a big difference.
Yeah, and so now we've got Olivia King making her move, coming around. She wants to be up the front.
And this is where the girls behind, the likes of Erin Downey and the Gerdine Venter and Emma Cumming, will really want to try and sort of park up on these wheels, and hopefully they're going to get pulled through.
So we've got Olivia King leading, Elise Andrews 2nd, Erin Downey on the inside. As Elise makes her move, wants to lead it out again, gets a big gap.
Yeah, clean pair of heels there, isn't it? So she's really sort of showing her dominance and also why she's an Olympic medalist in this event.
Yeah, you can see the power Elise has just there. Created a huge gap. So Elise comes down for the win for the elite women's Kieran, and close finish there for second.
Yeah, I think Olivia King got there in second. Was it Nicole Marshall in third?
So Elise Andrews, the winner of the elite women's Kieran.
And that race just showed how explosive Elise is as an athlete as well, didn't it, Rushley?
Yeah, huge show of power right there from Elise. She just took off, created a huge gap. These girls had to fight it out for second and third.
Really
close
good,
finish.
Really good run from Nicole Marshall there at the end, so just to get over those three. So she was definitely coming at them pretty hot. And Nicole's actually had a really good event with the medals in the 500 as well, so, and also the sprints and making the sprint final. So she's showing some great progression.
So we just see them getting off the track there after the Kieran final. So there we have it. Elise Andrews with the win. Livy King in second and Nicole Marshall third. Erin Downey fourth. Emma Cumming fifth. And Gerdine Venter in sixth.
And definitely those minor places were really well fought out, so it's good to see how many strong female sprinters we've got coming through at the moment.
Yeah, good to see everybody fighting it out all the way to the finish line there. And they're congratulating each other now as they come off the track.
Yeah, really fast turnaround for some of these girls. So we're going straight to the sprint final coming up. So poor Sophie de Vries, and she's going to be lining up very, very quickly for a gold medal ride. And then you're going to also see Jessica Schuler in the same boat. So
Yeah,
such a short turnaround.
There's a very short turnaround for these under-19 sprint riders.
And as you can see, Elise Andrews there giving a pre-race interview with Steph, who's one of the CNZ staff there. So no doubt that will be on the Instagram page in just a moment.
You've got to be rapid with the social media these days. Right, so here we are with the women under-19 sprint final. First ride, best of three. So in the bronze final, we have Jessica Schuler versus Pearl Harris Blaine. Waikato versus Southland. Pearl's had a little bit of a bigger break than Jessica, so we'll see if that plays out.
Yeah, and I don't know how Jessica's going to feel because I'm still not recovered from her last ride, so she'll be definitely feeling it out there. So, but that sort of motivation of that bronze medal will be pretty hot there.
Yeah, I think these girls might be feeling it, the rapid turnaround. Might have seen a bucket out there in the track centre. Looks like we're just trying to find where they're at.
So I think the longer this takes, probably the better for all of them.
Yeah, maybe they're hiding.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have needed a bathroom break, I think, just to, refresh. Yeah, we can just see out on the infield, and probably don't have a picture of it, but Jess is still just trying to recover a little bit from her last ride. So definitely put a lot of pressure on her, and what a ride she did actually, trying to take it to Sophie and rode super strongly. There we go. So she's definitely a little bit on her knees there.
You can see Raquel Sheath with the bucket there, just giving her some support.
And these races are so intensive. There's a lot of lactic acid build up, and when you sort of tend to stop it, it definitely can hit you pretty hard, these intensive efforts, as I'm sure you probably know from your years in the track program, Rushley.
Yeah, often the worst part of the day is when you stop, because then you feel it all, and that's when you realise that maybe you need a bucket. It's just a demonstration of determination right there, and definitely happens to everybody. The best riders in the world.
Yes, phenomenal guts there from Jess as well. So she's definitely, one of the tough ones, eh?
So we have Raquel Sheath there supporting her. Rick is a recently retired athlete who was a member of the women's track endurance squad.
And there's a lot of previous track endurance squad members sort of in and around here at the moment, and it's so great to see so many of the women giving back to the sport. And definitely really motivational as well.
Yeah, it's cool just to watch the future of the sport come up, support that growth.
And I know you've helped a little bit in some of the development camps that have come through, Rushley. You must have really enjoyed sort of giving back to the sport and seeing the next lot of girls come through as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's an enjoyable experience for me personally. I really like helping the next generation. I really enjoy their enthusiasm and the passion that they bring. Does make me think now and then maybe I should keep doing it, but I think the future of the sport is in really good hands, and if I can give back one way or another, then that would be an honour. So here we have the girls lining up. Huge kudos to Jess there for that quick turnaround.
Yeah, what an absolute animal. That's pretty tough and gutsy stuff. So I'm really looking forward to just hopefully seeing Jess get out there and race hard, and Pearl as well, and see some good racing.
So it is best of 3. So this is ride number 1. As we see Pearl being pushed up onto the track. She's just getting her feet locked in.
So again, Jess has opted to go for the sprinter's straps. So just to hold your feet in when you're trying to put that explosive power out.
Yeah, good on Jess for getting out there.
So again, another pairing that's got matching wheels, so no wheel advantage there. So it'll be down to the athlete and what's going on.
So they roll away.
So it'll be interesting to see the tactics from Pearl here. So knowing especially that Jess has been unwell, you can choose to take advantage of that a little bit and keep the pace a little bit higher. And it looks like Jess is just sort of struggling to find her feet a little bit at the moment. Just needs to close that gap up, just depending on how she feels.
Yeah, I'm sure she's not loving life right now, but she's doing awesome just to be out there as Pearl uses that advantage and gets a big gap.
Yeah, it just shows how hard it is to back up and how hard that Jess had to work to get over Sophie as well. So Pearl's taken a clear lead here, and it's unfortunate that just that for Jess that recovery hasn't been there.
Yeah, as Pearl comes around to take the win in the first ride of the bronze final.
So she'll have a little bit more time to recover with the medal presentations before she runs her second ride. So hopefully what we'll see is that she'll recover and then come out and have another crack.
Yeah, awesome job there just to get out there. So now we have another recovery opportunity for Jessica before they come out and do their second ride. So Pearl with the win in race 1. The commissaires carry a bike down the stairs. So now we watch the girls coming up for the gold medal ride. We've got Gemma and Sophie, both from Waikato Bay Plenty.
So I've seen a lot of Waikato Bay Plenty jewels in this championship, so, and another one. So Gemma's still got her Lucky socks and bar tape on, so all colour coordinated, and Sophie obviously opting for the all white shoe and sock get up.
So Finn pushing Sophie up there to take the inside line.
So Gemma qualified first in the sprint qualifying, so she's the number 1 seed. So she's the one that'll be looking to sort of take this ride and really take it out. But you've got Sophie, who's a very seasoned campaigner. She's been in the finals before. She was second last year in the match sprints, looking to go one better.
So there goes Sophie on the red bike, red Cervelo with Gemma on the black bike with the pink accessories.
And there was a time in cycling where your socks either had to be white or black, wasn't there, Ashley? It's, times have changed.
There was also a time in cycling when your socks could be as high as they wanted to be, but now your socks can only measure to the midpoint of your calf.
How did you cope having to get rid of the knee highs?
Yeah, it was tough. Tough days.
So the reason why the socks were higher is essentially aerodynamic benefits. So now you've sort of got to go up to the centre of the calf, or the widest point of the calf. It can't be over that.
Yeah, an expensive aerodynamic material is faster than skin, so both of these girls are wearing long sleeve skin suits. Sophie leading, looking back.
So we're coming through with 1 lap to go here.
Yeah, interesting tactics. We're both on the bottom of the track and we've got 1 lap to go, so they're going to have to use all of their energy to get up to speed here, as we see Gemma with the jump around Sophie.
Yeah, very interesting tactics by Sophie there. So Gemma was the fastest starter in the 500 metre time trial. So essentially from not moving for 1 lap, she was the fastest out of all those girls when she got third. So really playing into Gemma's hands there a little bit.
Yeah, Gemma with a huge gap over Sophie. And Gemma takes the win for race 1 of the gold medal final.
So no doubt we'll see Sophie go back to the drawing board there and hopefully reassess what her tactics were and look at a different approach.
Yeah, we're going to need to see a different tactics next time.
And just confirmation of the result there. So Gemma Cordery taking the win over Sophie de Vries. So she goes 1 up in the best of 3.
So now we have another awards presentation for the Women's Elite Kieran. And then back to these girls to do ride number 2.
So in this women's Kieran that we're just about to have the medal presentation for, we really saw Elise Andrews sort of stamp her authority on that and show why she's such a world-class sprinter and world-class Kieran rider. With how she rode at Tokyo and then obviously showing her dominance here at a national level.
Yeah, Elise really showed us there how much power she has, how she knows the race. So right there we have Shauna Fulton talking to Sophie. So Shauna was actually the winner of the Women's Kieran last year.
So Shauna's just recovering from a surgery, so she's starting to make her way back and won't be too far before she's on the bike. But definitely that's one of the people that you'd want to be taking advice from, isn't it, Rushley?
Yeah, 100%. No doubt they're having a good conversation about tactics, what to do next time. And it's another awesome example of a senior rider giving back to the juniors, sharing knowledge and information.
And that's so good. What's so good about the atmosphere down here as well? You've got so many elite athletes that are willing to give information and support younger riders coming through. So it really helps their development, and you're seeing them really sort of come up to the next level, maybe a little bit faster than what you'd normally see as well.
Yeah, so this is actually the first Nationals in a while where the under-17s and under-15s have been a part of the elite. Unfortunately, this year for COVID, they still had to be in a separate event time slot, but they are here in Cambridge, so they get to watch their senior riders race. And yeah, it's just great having everybody in the same environment, learning from their role models, watching what they do. And it's also good for the senior riders to watch the junior riders and know who's coming up, just inspire the younger generation.
Yeah, and I remember when I was coming through, probably showing my age a little bit here, that it was really inspirational to see these elite level athletes as a 15, 14-year-old and really want to aspire to be like them and be as fast as them. Didn't quite happen for me, but I'm sure it happened for you, Rushley.
Yeah, well, when I did track nationals, yeah, it was all together. And when I did track nationals, the under-19 women actually raced the mass start events with the elite women. So I had no choice but to get amongst it and race with them. But it was really good for my development. And I was probably that annoying little youngster that, kept attacking.
That's good. And you've got to really be in these races and know what your strengths are, and if you're an aggressive rider, that's taking the race and knowing what your best opportunity is to get the result or the desired outcome that you're looking for.
Yeah, and I know that the senior riders appreciate it, in races like the Cambridge 3-Day or the NTS racing, where the juniors and seniors all mix it together, and we just love it when the juniors kind of come out here and give it everything, and they don't care who we are or who they're racing against. They just come out and they race their hearts out, and it makes us work for it as well. It makes the senior riders think differently. We always want to race someone who comes out here with passion and just gets amongst it. That's what makes for the best racing.
And it's really cool because we're seeing it here, a lot of strong under-19 women coming through and showing their strength in the individual pursuits. We've had two really world-class times there, and then some really good bunch racing, especially in the points race a couple of nights ago where there was multiple girls trying to take the win as well.
So we're just going to go to the women's Kieran ceremony.
I was very surprised to hear that, to be honest. Yeah. So.
I don't think it is the same. I know the points are the same, but the requirements are different.
Ladies and gentlemen, the award ceremony for the 2022 Track National Championships Elite Women's Kieran will now take place. We'd like to invite Finn Cullinane, Cycling New Zealand sprint coach, to present the medals. In third place, and the winner of the bronze medal, representing Southland, Nicole Marshall. In second place, and the winner of the silver medal, representing Waikato Bay of Plenty, Olivia King. In first place, and the winner of the gold medal, and the recipient of a national champion's jersey, your 2022 Elite Women's Kieran National Champion, representing Waikato Bay of Plenty, Elise Andrews. And Elise also receives a native plant from our proud sponsors, Amber Garden Centre. Ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for our place getters in the Elite Women's Kieran National Championship podium.
So we're going to an interview with Elise Andrews?
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole time? No, you can look around now once you ask.
We're coming down to you on the floor with an
And we're catching up with Elise Andrews. We've just presented a national champion's jersey for the Elite Women's Kieran, so congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Talk us through this week, the last couple of months for you. I know there was a crash last year, but it's got super fantastic to see you back out racing. Did that do wonders for your confidence heading into Oceanias?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it shocks you a bit when you have a crash, so it's nice to come back from that, get on the track and put down a good performance that I'm happy with. So yeah, definitely getting more confident. I'm going to Oshie's, leaving in about a week or so.
And coming back from Oshie's, obviously we've got Nick Flyger coming back over with the team as the new head sprint coach. So talk us through what you're looking forward to with Nick coming over and joining Finn and the rest of the team.
No, we've already had some chats with Nick, and he's a great guy. We're super keen to have him here in New Zealand, not just over the phone all the time. So it'll be nice to actually connect as a team and bring Nick on board and talk about where we want to go and where we are and, the goals for the future.
And obviously coming off 2021, which was a fantastic year, we're obviously also talking to an Olympic silver medalist, which is fantastic. Talk us through kind of the coming up through the year, obviously some overseas travel coming up, and then, the long run into Paris.
Yeah, so this year will be a big one for competition. We have Commonwealth Games mid-year, which is a really big goal for me and for the team. Leading up to that, we'll have a campaign overseas, a Nations Cup, and then trying to collect points and qualify for Worlds later in the year, which is another big goal.
So that's an individual performance as well, but let's talk about the women's team sprint. Wow, this is getting really cool. Obviously, you've got some fantastic teammates and, people really pushing for positions. So what does that mean, having a really strong women's program with you and behind you?
I'm so excited to be able to compete in a women's team, 3-woman team sprint. It's only really just come into the program. We've got a 3-woman team sprint tomorrow with Rebecca and Liv for Waikato, which is so exciting. But then coming into the rest of the year, actually learning more about each other as a team, putting down some cool performances, and then getting on the world stage and putting New Zealand out there, which is exactly what we want to be doing.
How excited are you for the next year, 2 years, 3 years?
No, I'm super excited. I think like it'll be great, like you said, to have Nick here, to be with the girls, just to push for better performance and push for, faster times. It's going to be really cool.
We're all incredibly proud of you and all of our riders, but congratulations on what you've achieved so far, and certainly for today. It's our new national Kieran champion.
Thank you.
So good to see Elise there with another national jersey.
Yeah, she'll be wrapped with that first sort of ride back from injury and showing that she's really on the right track towards Oceanas and Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, so as she just said, Oceanas is coming up pretty fast. I know the squad leaves late March. So pretty quick turnaround from Nationals to Oceanas. So that's in Brisbane. And it's always a good fight between New Zealand and Australia. And key points are on the line at Oceanas. There's huge UCI points, which go towards your World Championships qualifications.
And that's really key, isn't it? The more points you have, the more races you can do, and I guess the better starts you get as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so for Oceanas, and some events, if you win the event, you automatically qualify a spot for the World Champs, which is a huge advantage because then you don't have to go around the world getting points. So here we have Jess coming up for another ride. Little legend getting back up here again. So this is ride 2 for the bronze final in the under-19 women's sprint.
Yeah, we can just see her there getting into her sprint straps and getting those done. It will help to do those up, so she's not going to sort of pull a foot or sort of unclip halfway around the banking.
So Pearl took the win here in ride number 1. So Jess will want to be putting up a good fight here.
I think we've had a little bit more recovery time for Jess in this one, so hopefully we'll see a different ride come out and a little bit more of a closer battle because we've had a bit more recovery.
Yeah, whatever happens though, I think we can say that she's definitely given it her all today.
Yeah, she's been incredible.
And Pearl with a good use of tactics in the first ride to take the advantage.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens here and what tactics Pearl's going to sort of implement through this ride.
Yeah, is she going to go with the similar tactics and draw Jess out? Or is she going to play the patience card a bit more?
No,
think
she looks
she's
like
gonna
she's
go
going
long.
now. And yeah, Jess doesn't have an answer. It's a pity for Jess, just especially with how well she's been sprinting. But Pearl's definitely sort of seen that and taken off to take her bronze medal.
Yeah, so good use of opportunity from Pearl. It is unfortunate that Jess couldn't put up a big fight, but we've clearly seen today that she's given it everything, and that's awesome. So Pearl will come around and will take the win for the bronze final. So Jessica takes 4th.
And down on the infield there, we can see the other under-19s getting warmed up for the elimination race, which is a race we were talking about earlier. So they'll be looking forward to getting out on the track and getting stuck into that one as well.
So bronze medal for Pearl. And now we have the gold final.
So Gemma Cordery is one ride up in this, so with Sophie De Vries trying to sort of turn the tables in this ride.
So the last ride we saw them stay low on the track the whole time, and that was more of like a standing start tactic. So it'll be interesting to see if they change it up this time.
So looking at the sprinting from previously and from other nights as well, Gemma has a very explosive start. So from a slow start, she's going to take a little bit of a gap over Sophie. So we'll be interested to see if Sophie makes that same mistake again.
So Gemma with the inside line this time. Gemma taking the lead.
So they've just got to go faster than walking pace for this first half a lap, which they are doing just. From that time, they can either decide to go faster or slower. It looks like they're going to do a wee standstill for us.
And so Gemma clearly wants Sophie to take the lead. Trying to force her in front of her. Classic sprint tactics.
Which Sophie sort of has done, but doesn't really want to take the front, so they're sort of matching their standstill together.
Interesting tactics here. Sophie decides to take the lead. Now we see them using the track, going high.
So this is quite a change in tactics from the previous round, Rushley. So traditionally, if Sophie's up high, she tends to negate Gemma's jump a little bit, so it becomes more of a drag race. So it'll be interesting to see whether they sort of tend to stay up the track or not. And it looks like Sophie's going to push her up here as well.
Sophie likes to lead from the inside, but Gemma's forcing her down as they both get out of their seat, coming into one to go. Going to see another bit of a drag race. Sophie's going to have to come around again. Gemma looks to have the gap though.
Yeah, Gemma's got a lot of speed there, and it just looks like at the moment it's just a little bit too much for Sophie. So Gemma will go through and take the ride 2-0 and the gold medal, with Sophie going into the silver medal, and some great riding there from Sophie as well.
Yeah, so good tactics there by Gemma. She made the ride play to her strengths. Gemma with the win for the under-19 women's sprint. Just the confirmation of final there.
So Gemma Cordery, a gold medalist from Sophie de Vries, and Pearl Harris-Blaine will take out the bronze medal.
Just congratulating each other there. Good riding, girls. Big day for these girls. Quick turnaround. Now they can rest. So the next event on schedule is the women's under-19 elimination. As they roll around the track, and they're going to line up on the fence. So this event is hectic from the start.
Yeah, this is going to be a good battle, I think. So positioning is going to be really key here, and I think you'll see some pretty hard riding, actually.
Yeah, the elimination is always hard, no matter what. You can't really play a tactic where it's easy. You have to be really good at bunch movement, moving in and out of gaps that exist and don't exist. Are you going to lead from the front, or are you going to come from the back? It's a pretty big field here.
So we've got Amelia Sykes there, Cara Kelly, Pearl Harris-Blaine, Sammy Walker, Maddie Lowry, B. Townsend,
Then we've got
Shauna
Shauna
Gray.
Gray, Georgia Simpson. That's Emma Blackmore. Molly Hayes. Belle Judd, Ruby Bath, Anna Lachey.
So positioning here in the first sort of couple of laps is going to be key, isn't it, Rushley?
Yeah, it really is key. So for someone like Anna, who's at the back right now, you want to make a pretty quick move off the fence.
Would you be preempting the whistle if you were Anna?
Yeah, 100%. You can see these riders holding onto the balustrade. They're going to use that to sling themselves off. They've got one neutral lap, and then the race is starting. So they're going to have to stay together on the neutral lap to ensure the race starts. You can see up in the stands there 2 masterminds talking about it.
Yeah, you've got Ross Majewski, who's the elite women's coach, and he'll be obviously watching this very closely.
Yep, looking for the talent who's going to join the squad.
And there's definitely some talent out there today.
Yes, 100%. This is a really good group of girls. As they come around, all bunched together, so they'll get the bell, and the race will be starting. So that we have an elimination every second lap. So last across the line, every second lap will be eliminated. So we've got Shauna Gray in the front on the inside, leading, controlling from the front.
That's actually Molly Hayes, I think. Yeah, with Amelia Sykes just going through there. And then Georgia Simpson riding on her hip. So I definitely wouldn't want to be in the very back position of that bunch, I think, where Kiara Kelly is at the moment, but or Maddie Lowry. So we'll be seeing what will happen there.
Yeah, the danger comes when you're down the bottom.
That's Belle Judd. Judd, I think that's just gone out there.
92.
And it is Belle Judd. So being down the bottom on the inside at the back is not usually the safest place to be, is it, Rushley?
No, it can be the easiest because you get the most draft, but you can often get caught out as people come around you, coming into the finish line, and you've got nowhere to go. So they're stacking up high. Pretty tight bunch at the moment.
So Ruby Bath's just been called out that lap, so she's been caught by what we used to call the devil, because this used to be the devil race rather than the elimination. So she'll pull out.
Testing.
And it looks like at this Amelia Sykes tactic is to lead from the front. Georgia Simpson's got great positioning there, just on her hip, and Shauna Gray is also in very good positioning.
Yeah, okay, so you can see Molly and Shauna, both there in the Waikato colours, in good positions in the front.
And Maddie Lowry looks like she's in trouble from
94.
Canterbury there.
Canterbury.
And it is
94.
And B Townsend's just hit the front there, so she's obviously seen that where she was not the ideal position. Just trying to move up and stay out of trouble.
Amelia looks like she wants to lead it from the front. Pretty tight bunch coming into the sprints.
Well, they didn't need it.
They look like they're leaving their runs pretty late.
Yeah, they're definitely waiting a long time before they can try and get up and around. That one was super tight.
100. Southland 100.
And Cara Kelly has just been caught there, so she'll be pulling out the lap.
Yeah, you never...
Southland 100. 100.
Never think that you're safe in this race. So we'll probably have a race. Oh no, she's figured it out.
She's got it now.
Emma Blackmore might want to move from that position, otherwise she'll get held down there.
Yeah, and it just becomes a little bit of a sprint, doesn't it? So, and she's caught out there.
90, 9-0, Auckland 9-0.
So Amelia's still in the front. with B.
And realistically, where both these two are at the moment, it's probably the safest to be. So you're not really having a sprint, you're just having to ride a tempo, aren't you?
Yeah, B's quite in a really good position there, especially with Amelia sitting on her hip. If she can just hold her there, then she knows that everybody's going to have to come around to the outside. But you still have to look and make sure how many people are there.
99, Southland 99.
So
Southland 99.
Pearl lining up again just after her sprint.
Yeah, pretty good effort, wasn't it?
That's a good effort. They're a bit more strung out now.
It looks like 108 struggling a little bit there, which is Anna Lachey.
So now you're going to have to really be looking all the time. So we've actually got a rider a little bit off the back here who will be the eliminated rider. So none of these girls in the picture.
108.
So they're all going to have to pay
Waikato,
attention
108.
to know that.
Yeah, they're just going to then have to sort of set themselves up for this next sprint. So you can see Amelia just riding on the hip of Molly Hayes, who's controlling the race with Shauna Gray on Amelia's wheel.
Yeah, those three riders have been often at the front. So now they're going to have to pay attention because it's going to be a line out across the finish line.
Oh, Molly Hayes got caught out.
107, Waikato, 107.
And that's where you've got to be really careful if you're leading out to make sure that you are sort of upping your pace and you're not going to get rolled over by the whole bunch.
Yeah, even especially at this point in time when you're down to 6 or 7 riders, you know, everybody has to sprint to the finish line, so it doesn't matter what position you're in. You have to go pretty hard every single time because people are always going to come over you.
And Sammy Walker's going to need to make a run here, otherwise she'll be in trouble.
She's trying.
Yeah, and Georgia Simpson might be the one that's caught on the inside looking at this.
This is where you go for the gaps
close.
that aren't necessarily there.
110, West Coast North Island.
And it was Georgia that got caught out.
110.
Just getting caught out on the inside there, nowhere to go.
So we are down to 4 riders, so it's going to be really tight here. So we've got the top 3 from the points race with Amelia Sykes, Shauna Gray and B Townsend in that order, with Sammy Walker doing a phenomenal ride here. So just making sure that she's awake and doing the right stuff. If they're smart, they would have boxed Shauna in there.
Yeah, so Shauna's going to have to go the long way around now.
And I think Sammy Walker might be in a bit of trouble.
Oh, it's going to be a race to the line. So Shauna just missing out there.
106, Waikato.
Yeah, after a stellar scratch race, she's just dipped out there. So it's 2 Canterburys and an Aucklander. Incidentally, all 3 of these girls have been training down at Denton Park in Canterbury, getting their strength up. So B's trained by Elise Fraser, the same coach as Amelia Sykes. And Sammy Walker's been working really, really hard here, and she looks like she's just starting to suffer a little bit coming towards the end.
So do you think Amelia and B have been taught the same tactics then?
I think they're coached individually. How was that for a PC answer?
Yeah, good job. So now it's a sprint out of Amelia and B.
Canterbury, 96.
So knowing both of these girls really well, I think we're going to see Amelia maybe hit out at B, and then B will have to sort of try and jump with her.
Yeah, B's going to want to keep looking.
Yeah, Amelia traditionally will have the stronger jump, but B's got great top end.
And Amelia's just coming around the outside, makes a gap.
Really good ride by everyone here, actually. It's such a tough race, and it's one of those rides where you just make one mistake in the bunch at the wrong time, and you can really pay for it, Rushley.
Yeah, so we have Amelia here, winner of the Under-19 Women's Elimination, and 5th gold medal of the track cycling meet. So amazing ride from these 2 girls. And we have B Townsend in 2nd place. Big day for these girls as well. Third event of the day.
Yeah, I think both these two will be really stoked with their performances this week, and I definitely know for B some of those performances were a wee bit unexpected for her. So she's worked really hard, and it's great to see it pay off.
There's Elise congratulating her two riders. They look all pretty happy with their event, so that's awesome to see. Great supporting each other. Oh, is she going to take both bikes? Oh, skills.
She's been working out for this moment, so in preparation.
Lots of arm days.
So Amelia, as I mentioned, must have been on Tuesday night, her post-race ritual is sour squirms. So she'll be getting into a packet of those and really enjoying those. And people were wondering what she had before the race, and it was sushi, so teriyaki chicken sushi. So not what I would have raced on, but Amelia's food of choice for today.
You got to just learn what works for you and then go with it. So, you know, good on it.
And here's the results.
So Amelia Sykes with the win, B Townsend in second, Sammy Walker in third, Shauna Gray in fourth, Georgia Simpson fifth, Molly Hayes sixth, Anna Lachey seventh, and Pearl Harris Blaine in eighth. And an awesome ride from all of those girls. Big week for everybody here. So congrats to all the under-19 riders for stepping up. Now we have the Elite Women's Points Race.
This is your fave, Rushley, so you'll be dying to watch this and hopefully watch the boot go in a few times and some laps come out. I was wondering if you were going to come out of retirement anytime soon to sort of race this and show everyone how it's done.
Oh, you know, I'll just support from the other side today, so I'll let them take the reins, but if they can hear me.
Here's Samantha Donnelly.
Points to whoever goes for the most attacks.
So Sammy Donnelly, followed by Erin Downey there on the wall. The Mean Machine, Bryony Botha.
Is she going to go for another MacBook or a fridge?
She definitely wants that Fisher and Paykel. Ella Wiley, Emily Sherman, Prue Fowler. Is Emma Cumming?
Penny Pawson, Anna Wilkinson.
And Joanne Miller.
So a pretty small field actually. Could get a bit rough out there.
No hiding, ladies.
Definitely no hiding. So we've got 80 laps rolling off. So sprints every 10 laps. Double points on the last lap. Oh, we've already got a break. Already got a breakaway.
I don't think they'll start the race with the breakaway and the neutral lap.
No, they won't.
Be amazing if they did though, wouldn't it? Just chasing straight away.
Yeah,
No.
so to start a race, everybody has to be together.
You see our comms just telling them they need to bunch up.
So the Canterbury riders rearing to go, I see.
I think they were just trying to make a sneaky break for it, Rushley.
Opportunists.
And it looks like Bryony both is going to take a flyer from the start. Just riding up along the top of the banking.
Yeah, are we gonna see the girls? Are the girls gonna know? So the gun goes and we're off, and B is
Boom.
already laying it down, and we've got Ella Wiley on her wheel.
So she's gone.
So what's Sammy gonna do here? Is she gonna go for it, or is she just gonna bide her time?
Well, I would personally probably be sitting up looking at the power that Bryony's putting out. And that motivation for that fridge is really sort of kicking in now. So maybe there was something on this points race.
Yeah, so B's just said, come on ladies, we're here to race, let's go. This is how we're going to do it.
It's really good to watch racing like this and see Bryony sort of go out and want to race hard and make the racing hard for everyone as well, Rushley.
Yeah, that was an awesome new tactic that she's trying, you know. Even the elite riders learn something every single race, so you have to be willing to try new tactics, go back, think about did they work, did they not work, how can I do it better next time. So for these girls now, it is going to be a bit of a long race. They've already gone into the red with B's attack. So B will go back to the drawing board.
Until she attacks again.
Yep.
She's
It's going to happen.
Yeah, she's one of the riders that loves to go out the front and loves to make the racing hard and seriously uncomfortable for everyone else in the race.
Yeah, so there's interesting tactics from the rest of the group. You know, you don't want to chase every attack down, because you only have so many matches to burn. You know, so do you chase the early ones down and then maybe it hurts you later? Or do you let them go and then look to get a lap yourself later in the race? For me personally, it would be if I was one of these other girls and be attacked, I think they actually did a really good job. They were straight on it and they showed that they weren't willing to give the race up. So that was really good from all of these girls. I do love the old attack on lap 1 though.
And traditionally, I think you'll see from what Brian had just put out in the individual pursuit, a lot of these girls will be sort of a little bit overawed by Bryony and how well she's going. So she'll definitely be the one to watch, but also I think a lot of them will be sort of so scared to actually go away and try and ride with her as well. I definitely wouldn't want to be lapping one-on-one with her.
Yeah, the pace that she just rode that IP on is very fast, so even just to hold her wheel would be a feat in itself. So these girls riding high on the track now, all looking at each other.
So they're 2 laps out from the sprint at the moment, so it looks like Sammy Donnelly's making a wee move, or she's
Sammy's
seeing
gonna line
Bryony
it up.
make a move and she's reacting to that, which is definitely quite a smart option.
So coming in, this is bell lap, so points are on the line this time. Sammy's lining it out.
Yeah, it looks like Bryony's just going to get a slingshot round and may nip her for the 5 points.
There is a big gap already created here.
My guess would be B will look to continue this.
Racing to the line. Yep, so Sammy and Ella want to stay on B's wheel. She's going to keep going.
And Ella, of course, is one of the development riders, but she's also an extremely strong roadie, previously finishing 10th inside the top 10 in the World Championship time trial for under-19s.
Yeah, so Ella has podiumed this week in the Scratch race as well. So these are endurance riders. So now we have B, Bryony and Ella out the front. A good combo. And we've got Emily Sherman chasing them down.
So we're really seeing the field in pieces now. So you've got 2 out the front, followed by Emily Sherman chasing, and then a group of 3 just behind.
Good work from M to close that gap down.
And Emily's just coming back into the sport from a little bit of time off, isn't she, Rushley?
Yeah, so she did have a bit of a break, so she's coming back into full fitness. She's a key member of the Team Pursuit team as well. But also still pretty young rider, so got a lot of years ahead of her as they rejoin and go high on the track again.
And they'll definitely be sucking in the deep ones, trying to recover now. So just with that move that Bryony made, it's going to hurt those riders, and they're really going to need to recover as fast as they can because another one's coming at them before they know it.
Yeah, so Bryony will keep attacking this race, definitely. So yeah, what you said earlier, like do you just watch Bryony and follow her, or do you try and take the race in your own hands? Bryony is the one to beat, so she will be a marked rider, but I dare say she's also the strongest, so that band-aid will break, elastic band will break eventually. So just riding high, trying to recover, as B's kind of boxed in there up the top.
And this would be an ideal time for someone just to sort of roll away and try and get a little bit of track in front of them before Bryony either attacks again and comes across, or try and get some points for the next sprint.
Yeah, it would be good to see some of these girls take the race in their own hands, and in a situation like this where Bryony's up the top, can't really get out, it will be a great opportunity to just attack and try and get a gap, and then the rest of the field could just look to Bryony to bring it back. So it's not only about following, it's also about creating the race for yourself, looking for the opportunities.
And here we go. Here's some opportunities coming up, so they're really making the most. But Bryony's actually right on that, so she's going to blast into that move before you know it.
So coming into the bell lap, we've got Prue leading it out, Bryony coming fast around, and Emily Sherman on a wheel.
Yeah, she's really hooning there, so it looks like she's going to take the sprint out, and she's got a good cadence too, so really on top of that gear.
So it's going to be a fight to the line. So Ella taking second place in that sprint, Emily third. As B keeps going, keeps the power on, doesn't want to sit up. So we have a small group forming. So these 6 riders have got a gap off the rest of the field.
You can maybe see that pursuit earlier in the day just taking a little bit of a toll on Sammy Donnelly, who's just missed that move.
Yeah, this is definitely a move you want to be in. So because there's more riders in the front group than the back group, the front group is effectively the peloton, not the breakaway. So Bryony's leading currently with 2 wins under her belt, 10 points, Ella Wiley 5, Sammy Donnelly 3, Emily Sherman 2, and Prue Fowler also 2.
It looks like we've got Emma Cumming that's made that front move as well, which is great considering she's just ridden the Kieran.
Yeah, it's a really good move from Emma to be in that group. As she's making the move to endurance, trying to test her legs out, see if she wants to do endurance riding.
She'll definitely have a fast finish.
She's got great advice from her partner Mark Stewart. I'm sure he's, well, I don't know if he's watching this. It's probably a bit early in the UK, but...
And Mark is more often the hammer than the nail in his riding. So he's a recent winner of the New Zealand Cycle Classic. Showed immense strength in that race and was just a class above the whole field, really.
So now everyone's back together. That's good effort from those girls to get back here to the front group. So we've got Prue and Sammy out the front. Everybody's still looking at each other. I think there might be a bit of fear factor in here. They're a little bit afraid of how much it's going to hurt, with 53 laps still to go.
There's Emma just doing a wee smart roll off the front, so no one's sort of following that at the moment. It looks like Penny Pawson will want to close that down, but if she commits, she may get quite an easy lead quite quickly.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting actually, as we see.
There we go, Penny Pawson having a
Attack.
crack at it. And Emma looks very disinterested.
Yeah, great attack from Penny. Huge gap immediately, and Bryony's reacting with Ella on her wheel. So I dare say B might have to do most of this work. So we're coming into a bell lap. So Penny's got a big gap. B's on the front, dragging everybody along.
And knowing Bryony, I don't think she'll actually ask for help either.
So this is going to be interesting because it's a points lap, but also Penny's out the front. So Ella there in 3rd place, and they're going to keep going.
Yeah, just look at the motor on Bryony. She's such a big engine. She's able to continue after that sprint and not really back off, which is really impressive.
So Penny with 5 points, Bryony with 3, Ella 2, and Emily Sherman in 1.
And we're seeing a really good ride here from Ella Wiley. So quite smart. She's in the right area. She's in the points. Just making sure that she's actually getting points every sprint. It's that accumulation we were talking about before, Ashley.
Yeah, Ella's keeping a close eye on B, making sure she's in the key moves and picking up points along the way. all of these girls have been training together for the last week, so they kind of know how each other's going, where each other's strengths and weaknesses are. So a small bunch now as Sammy makes it back onto the back.
Yeah, so 7 left in this race.
So we've still got 46 laps to go.
Not quite halfway yet, Rushley.
Yeah, she's a long one in a small group. So some of these riders are going to want maximal recovery right now. They're probably going to be breathing very hard, and others are going to be probably feeling a little bit impatient, want something to happen.
There's only 4 individual pursuits left for Bryony though in this race, so she's going to have to get going if she wants to sort of have a crack at all of them.
So B's leading, she laps up. Ella doesn't want to do any work, just watching the field, using energy wisely as they ride high. So B's going to have to take this one. She's going to have to control the race. Clearly everybody's going to be watching her. It's pretty hard to keep the surprise factor in such a small group like this. So you constantly have to think about tactics. What am I going to do now? What worked? What didn't work?
It's especially hard being the marked rider, isn't it? So when everyone's actually watching you the whole race.
Yeah, especially in a small group like this. So usually an international field is 24 riders. So that's at least double this. And there's a little bit more bodies that you can hide behind.
And what tends to happen is you start seeing more reactive racing. So they'll be just following what Bryony's doing rather than, as we see here, she's hitting out underneath. They'll be following what Bryony's doing rather than what everyone else is doing.
So we've got Penny leading it out. Bryony trying to come around. Sammy's in third, so Bryony takes the win again, and she's going to keep going.
Yeah, which is great time to do that as well, especially when she's already got a gap, and Ella Wiley's flying up the outside.
So here comes some speed from Ella.
Yeah, she's looking great, isn't she, with that move?
She's going to have to lay some gas down to get on Bryony. So this could hurt, but she's gaining. And she's on B, and that was an awesome move from Ella to make it across like that. So now these two are out the front. A really good combo. So Bryony with the 5 points. So we've got Bryony in the lead with 18 points. Penny in second with 8. Ella Wiley in third with 7. And Sammy in fourth with 5 points. So pretty tight race from second and below. So right now we have Ella and Bryony out the front working together. They've got a pretty big gap. And we've got Peru trying to chase them down. Solo in the middle, no man's land.
So they've got about half a straight lead over Peru, who's again about half a straight over the bunch. So the gap's really starting to stretch out now. And if you're in Peru's situation, what would you be thinking, Rushley?
Yeah, I would. She's definitely in a tough place. I would just stay there and just go at a comfortable pace, a pace that you're not going to completely blow up, but a pace that you can maintain. If Bryony and Ella catch the bunch, then Peru will be the lead of the race. So then she could stay there and try and just pick up a few more points. So we have 4 laps to go before the next sprint with Ella and Bryony out the front. So they probably won't catch the bunch before the next sprint, which means they'll soak up the points.
And ideally you wouldn't want to be catching the bunch before the next sprint, would you? Because you lose the 5 points.
Yeah, ideally you can stay out there, take the points and then catch the bunch, but not everybody has that ability just to do that. Often when you're taking a lap, you're in the pain cave already, and sometimes you need to catch that bunch because if the bunch is also sprinting for points, then they will speed up. And if you try and play that tactic and sit behind the bunch just to gather up the points, it can often hurt you later.
We see Prue's actually doing a really good job here. She's just slowly making her way, I think, up to Bryony and Ella.
Yeah, the gap is definitely getting smaller, so Prue's doing well. The front two don't seem to be doing a lot of explosive power. As they come into the sprint, B's looking around, watching Ella. They're going to drag it out for the sprint. And then what's going to happen? Are they going to keep going? Still working together. So Prue's going to take the points for third.
And this will hurt Prue a little bit because they've had a sprint. It's just extending the gap that she was closing down.
So Bryony and Ella now in the same straight as the bunch.
And Prue's at about half a lap.
So now Bryony with 23 points, a clear lead. And Ella moves into second with 10 points. So are they going to keep working and catch the bunch? Or are they going to be tactical? I think Bryony will want to catch the bunch. And then she'll probably go again.
And then, of course, you've got that 20-point gain from catching the bunch as well, which makes it really big.
Really know what they're doing here, so they're
Match sprinting.
they're just biding their time, which is a really interesting tactic. Yeah, so if they catch the bunch, they get 20 points.
And it's not like they're close to a sprint lap either, so it's very interesting.
Yeah, so we're at 26 laps to go. So they are quite far from the sprint lap.
Ella will have to be careful here because if Bryony attacks her and Ella doesn't get on, then the race it could be in a bit of trouble for Ella.
Yeah, I could see Bryony getting a little bit frustrated here and probably just attacking. And this is great for Prue because Prue's now caught them.
Yeah, she's done a stellar ride.
So really good work for Prue, just keeping on those pedals, and now she's caught these two riders. So what's going to happen now? Maybe Prue will be like, all right, I want to catch the bunch.
Yeah,
Yep,
she's going.
She's just going to keep going.
I wonder if they realise she's on the same lap.
Oh no, now we're all looking at each other.
Prue should just go for it.
Go Prue.
She's ahead of the race. Take the 20 points.
Yeah, so the leader of the race right now is Prue, as Bryony comes and chases her.
Have you ever seen a points race like this, Roshley?
This is a strange one. I'm going to be honest with you. I would have gone and got the 20 points and had a wee rest, but, you know, whatever.
It almost feels a little bit like match sprinting in a points race.
Yeah, I'd love to know the thoughts of the riders after this, what they're thinking.
And it looks like our third place rider, Penny Pawson, is just pulled into the infield. So that will mean that Samantha Donnelly at the moment is in third place.
If I was Ella or Prue, I would try and attack. They could just keep attacking Bryony, and then Bryony would have to chase. Instead, I dare say Bryony might attack as they come into the sprint. So what's going to happen here is they're going to catch the bunch in the sprint, which is going to be a bit hairy. And so now,
If they're smart, Ella will keep going again because she's already got the gap.
so that was probably a connoisseur's nightmare, catching the bunch on the finish line. So where was the front of the bunch? Ella won the sprint, also got 20 points. So did Bryony, got 20 points for catching the bunch, and now they've just gone straight through and out the other side.
Prue has got 20 points for catching the bunch as well, so...
Yep. So Prue missed the jump, though, of Ella and Bryony going straight through. Now the race is really in ones and twos.
So we've got a group of 2 out the front with Bryony and Ella from a group of 2 chasing, which is Emily Schumann and Emma Cumming. Then a group of 3.
So the leaders of the race right now are Ella and Bryony. So these are the leaders of the race. So they caught the bunch on the sprint lap, sprinted through the bunch, kept going, and now they've got another breakaway. So we've got 17 laps here to go.
And if it stays like this, Bryony has enough points that even if she doesn't win the last sprint, and Ella does, as long as they stay out the front together, that she will still win the race.
So there's double points on the last sprint. So it looks like they've given up on the break, and the bunch has come back together now.
So we're still waiting for the overall points to be updated, but by my sort of account, we've got Bryony both are leading from Ella Wiley and Prue Fowler in 3rd place.
Yeah, we definitely had 3 riders lap what was left of the bunch. So 14 laps to go, 2 sprints, double points on the last sprint. So Ella's just really doing a good job of sticking with Bryony, not wanting to let her go.
Yeah, she's definitely sort of picked Bryony out as the one to watch, and it's really done well with both of them together, and it's helped them lap the field and take more points as well. Emma Cumming just rolling off the front of the bunch there. So she's actually done pretty well with her transitioning, especially just recently doing Duro to still actually be there and be in the hunt.
Yeah, this is good. She's still amongst it in the bunch. As we start winding up, we've got 2 laps to the next sprint. Ella starts going.
It's a long way out, isn't it, to sort of have a crack for this. So she's obviously feeling pretty good to be hitting out a lap and a half out before the sprint.
Yeah, it's going to be a long sprint from Ella. It's good to see still got lots of matches at the end of the race. So Bryony's going to come around, and then we've got Penny Pawson also coming around Ella. Oh, the gap started to open now.
Yeah, Ella's head's down a little bit as well, so she might be in a little bit of trouble here. So Bryony's definitely just got in her groove and is spinning away.
So we're within the last 10 laps. So B's just going to put her head down, keep going.
And Ella and Penny will really have to work hard to try and catch Bryony here.
So we've got Bryony out the front, and then the 2 Aucklanders chasing, and then the rest of the bunch behind. So Bryony's building that gap.
Yeah, you can really see the 2 that are chasing, Penny and Ella, really starting to struggle now. So Bryony's just got into her work and she's opened up that big gap now. So she's about a straight now in front of everyone else.
Yeah, you can really see the fatigue set in on all of these riders, even Bryony. The body language changes, you're rocking a bit more on the bike. So see if Bryony's going to catch them again. She's got 5 laps to go. She's out to see how many points she can get in 1 points race. Why not? Good on her. Yeah, the bunch sits up the top.
Yeah, so she'll be looking to sort of latch on the back pretty soon. It'll be interesting to see if anyone tries to fire out of that bunch. So then they're at the front of the race and can try and take the 10 points at the end.
Yeah, if they let her catch them before the end, then they can race for the 10 points. If they don't, then Bryony's going to take the 10 points. And Bryony comes down the back straight.
Now, is she going to keep going?
And she's caught them.
That's an epic ride from Bryony. So just showing her strength there as well.
Yeah, she just took that lap rapidly within the last 10 laps.
Which is so unheard of, isn't it, really?
Yeah, you don't often see that in the last 10 laps. So awesome riding there as they line up for the last sprint. So we're coming in, we've got one to go. Last sprint of the day, 10 points on the line. Penny Pawson's leading it out with Ella. Ella's coming around. Emily Sherman trying to come around too. So we've got Ella leading. Ella's going to get the 10 points, and then Emily Sherman, Penny Pawson.
So it'll be really tight to see who takes that third place there.
Yeah, third place is a little bit confusing for me right now, to be honest. We haven't had a points update. Got a little bit hairy in the middle, but Prue did get the lap, so she did get 20 points.
And I think she was on 4 points before that, so there's 24. She'll be pretty hard to beat, I think, with how the rest of them rode that race.
So we have Bryony Botha, the winner of the women's elite points race, with all of the points.
Yeah,
And
she wasn't sharing any, was she?
Ella Wiley did a really good job there for second place. She got a lot of points also, put her nose out there, wasn't letting B go too far. She bridged a lot of gaps, put her hand up to say, I want to be a part of this race. They got a lap.
And it's great seeing Ella be so aggressive in this race as well.
Yeah, definitely. Gave it to B, tried to sprint her every now and again. Made it interesting in the middle there when they sat up and just had a chat about what to do. So there we go. We've got 1 and 2 in the race. Bryony Botha and Ella Wiley.
So
So
we're
that-
still waiting for the points to come through. It seems like they're still trying to figure out, just as we are, what's been going on in this race.
Yeah, sometimes it can be quite confusing actually. Often you know what happens in the race, when you're in the race, more than when you're watching the race. You know where everybody is, you're counting your own points. So the commissaires are just going to have to go through their notes, see who did what. So that's the final sprint results there. Ella Wiley with 10 points. Emily Sherman, nice second place there at the end, 6 points. Penny Pawson, 4. And Emma Cumming lining up the last sprint there for 2 points. So we wait for confirmation of the final results as the commissaire looks to Bryony to confirm what happened.
Do you think he's asking her what she was doing in the middle of the race?
Potentially, yeah. He's either just having a yarn or would need some information.
I'm going with the latter.
It did get confusing there as they sprinted through the bunch to catch the field, but also get the points. So that was the last event of this session.
Yeah, what a jam-packed session we've had.
Yeah, that was lots to talk about.
At least we didn't run out of things to talk about. That would have been far worse.
This is true. Yeah, thanks, ladies. Good racing. Loved commentating it. Awesome effort from everybody that we saw racing today.
And it's good to see some really hard racing coming out, and especially in that last race, some aggressive racing as well.
Yeah, despite it being a small bunch, they all kept in there, all raced to the line. Most of these riders in this session had to line up more than once as well. So we see Prue Fowler putting her bike away.
Yeah, it was a pretty gutsy ride there from Prue, just chasing solo and catching back up to Bryony and Ella as well.
Yeah, stuck in no man's land for a long time, and she could have easily said, oh, too hard basket, I'm going to go to the back. But she said, nah, I'm going to stay here, and she caught them, got the lap. So that was the last individual event of the week for these girls. Tomorrow they have the team pursuit. So that's Penny Pawson.
Yeah, she had a mid-race puncture, I think, so she had to change her wheel mid-race and get back in, and it looks like she rode really well and got quite a few points actually in the end.
Yeah, definitely did a few attacks there. And Ella Wiley. So Ella has been working on her position, and you can't see it from this angle, but she's currently riding 28 centimetre bars just for aero gains. No need to ride big wide bars.
Well, when you're as built as Ella, probably 28 centimetre bars are about the width of her shoulders, so it probably makes quite a big difference for her tucking in.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be on her wheel because you'd get no draft.
Yeah, imagine that in a team's pursuit. But she definitely has a little bit of horsepower under the hood, doesn't she?
Yeah, awesome to see the endurance of Ella play out, especially in that points race. Lots of attacks, lots of covering gaps, and we're day 4 into the race week. So, yeah, the endurance of these riders really plays out. So B and Rick there are probably talking about what they're going to do on their nails, on their fingernails in the next meeting. Rick's a nail artist.
A nail specialist?
Nail specialist.
Yeah. Is that where your nails were done?
What items she's going to put in her fridge? Here comes Ross, the old handshake.
So Ross will no doubt be really pleased with what he's seen from Bryony this week.
Yeah, not just Bryony, just the other development girls who have been here for a camp and also placed in many events this week. You know, the coaches sit in the stands to watch the riders that they coach, but also the development and the future potential of cycling. And the girls today definitely put on a good show. Some really strong riders out there. And exciting for the future of the women's squad.
So what's your race been of the whole championships, Rushley, so far?
What's my favourite race?
Yeah, what one have you enjoyed watching the most?
To be honest, I really need to pick B's IP. Just phenomenal watching how fast she goes, but also the fact that she raced Sammy, who also did an awesome ride. And Sammy's just coming back from, time off the bike, and she's just getting her fitness under her, and she's just putting her hand up to be in that elite squad. So, and she's already doing 3:33. Like, that's awesome. So that ride there of those two girls, that's probably my favourite ride of the week so far. Just a clear demonstration of the strength that's coming through. And I'm really excited to see how B goes this year. I know she's targeting some of the IPs, Oceanias in a few weeks, Commonwealth Games, maybe the World Champs later this year in October, which are in Paris. So definitely watch this space. If you're not already, you need to start following Bryony so you can follow the history of women's cycling.
Yeah, she's really shown some amazing signs here, and it's so good to see her progressing. Like, every year she's getting faster and faster.
yeah, exciting future.
So we're still waiting for finalisation of the points from the points race, in particular the third place getter, and we won't be too far off from going to a medal presentation. And coming up shortly, we'll have the medal presentations for the other races, which will be presented by my co-commentator from today, Rushley Buchanan. So she's just heading downstairs to do that now, and no doubt she'll be pretty pleased to present those after some fantastic racing that we've witnessed today. So coming up after this session, we've still got some great racing in session 3. We're heading into session 3 with the elite and under 19 men. So we get some awesome racing. So this session starts at 7 p.m. So it's pretty much back on back. So you've only got to nip out and make your dinner and come back in, and you can sit down in front of the computer or the TV and watch it. So today we've got some great racing on hand. So we've got the individual pursuit finals, which for the under 19, which will really show some phenomenal racing from these boys, and there was some really close racing from them last night, which was pretty phenomenal, and I think there was around about 6 or 7 riders that actually went under the 320 mark, which is just about unheard of for New Zealand cycling, and bodes really well there. So it's pretty exciting to see, and there'll be some really good matchups there. On top of that, I think we've got the elite men's Kieran as well, which again will be a real fight for this. So hopefully we'll see some phenomenal results out of that as well. We've also got the men's elite 4,000 metre pursuit final. So Tom Sexton will be looking to take his first pursuit title out. So he was the first qualifier for that race. Did really well, and I think he's up against Keegan Hornblow from Tasman, who's one of the new up and comers, and been a little bit of a sort of a breakthrough year for Keegan, or a year and a bit for Keegan, after riding phenomenally well at the Tour of Southland, and then also second place at the recent New Zealand Road Nationals in the under 23 category. Rode a phenomenal kilo the other night as well, so I think that'll be a really good battle, and those two will be really duking it out as well. So there's heaps to see here. We've also got the under 19 men's sprint, so some guys will be looking to lay some quick times down and show what they have to offer there as well. And these will obviously progress through to finals. The men have got their elimination. So if you want to watch close racing like the under 19 women's we saw in the previous elimination, it'll be really good to watch. So we can see the girls and ladies getting ready there for their medal presentations. Shah Kowalski's having a chat with Sammy Walker and Amelia Sykes and B Townsend. They were the medalists in the elimination, so probably going through the protocols and what they'll be doing for the podium. And you can see in the background the pink socks of Gemma Corey. So it's definitely a standout, so we can tell her apart pretty easily, and she had a phenomenal ride in the women's sprints. Very hard backing up for those ladies. So you've got Sophie de Vries sitting next to her, and Pearl Harris Blaine over in the left in the Southland skin suit as well. So those girls were really on top of their game and fast riding, and yeah, full credit to all those ladies who backed up so well from their sprint qualifying. So we're just going to head down to the medal presentations now. Ready to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the award ceremony for the 2022 Track National Championship Under-19 Women's Elimination will now take place. The medals will be presented by Rushley Buchanan, multiple national champion and recently retired high-performance track rider. In third place, and the winner of the bronze medal, representing Canterbury, Sammy Walker. And in second place, and the winner of the silver medal, representing Auckland, B. Townsend. And in first place, and the winner of the gold medal, and the 2022 Under-19 Women's Elimination National Champion, also receiving a national champion's jersey, representing Canterbury, Amelia Sykes. And Amelia will also receive a native plant from our sponsors, Amber Garden Centre. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us and show your appreciation for the place getters in the Under-19 Women's Elimination National Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, the awards ceremony for the 2022 Track National Championships Under-19 Women's Sprint will now take place. We'd like to invite Rushley Buchanan back to present the medals. In third place, and the winner of the bronze medal, representing Southland, Pearl Harris Blaine. In second place, and the winner of the silver medal, representing Waikato Bay of Plenty, Sophie de Vries. And in first place, and the winner of the gold medal, and the recipient of a national jersey, your 2022 Under-19 Women's Sprint National Champion, representing Waikato Bay of Plenty, Gemma Cordery. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us and show your appreciation for the place getters in the Under-19 Women's Sprint. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce and present for the very first time the Bruce and Amy Dorr Cup. This is a cup that has been sponsored by Canterbury Track Cycling Centre to recognise the enormous contribution that Bruce and Amy Dorr have made to cycling, not only in the region, but also nationally. The trophy will be presented on behalf of Bruce and Amy Dorr by Elise Fraser from the Canterbury Centre. This trophy is to be presented to the under-19 female with the most points across the time trial, sprint and scratch races combined at the National Championships. We're very proud for the first inaugural winner of the Bruce and Amy Dorr Cup. Please welcome, representing Canterbury, Amelia Sykes. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us to recognise the contribution of Bruce and Amy Dorr and to celebrate the achievements of Amelia Sykes.
She'll be good.
I'll put my medal on as well. Oh yeah, her feature. Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's so good.
Maybe a little bit this way. Yeah, and we're ready when you are.
And we once again welcome Amelia Sykes, four-time national champion for 2022. How does that feel?
Oh, it's actually awesome. Like, I'm so stoked, actually, yeah.
And in addition to that, you're very proud Cantabrian to win the first Bruce and Amy Dorr Cup. Talk us through what Bruce and Amy Dorr mean to you guys, particularly for you in Canterbury.
So back in Canterbury, they attend like all events we have back there, even some Denton Nationals, and they turn up in their little car and they're always, even Amy's sitting in the car and Bruce will come out and help with numbers, and they're just, it's so awesome to see some people like that who have been in the sport for that long, who still want to come down and support everyone who's coming through as young athletes, to look up and go, wow, maybe that could be me one day, still in the sport. You know what I mean? It's so cool. And to have this trophy, it's I don't even have the words for it, you know, like back when my folks were racing, they said that they remember when they were also there to support everyone, and it's just so special, really.
It's volunteers are the heart of the sport, and without them we can't do anything. And I know Bruce and Amy a little bit, but it's fantastic that the Canterbury Centre have donated this trophy on behalf of them to recognise that, and it's fantastic that you've won that today. So congratulations, and I look forward to seeing you celebrate with Bruce and Amy when you get home.
Thank you guys so much, and just really quickly, thank you to everyone, all the officials who put all their time and effort just to make this all happen for us. Like, to see you guys here every single year makes it's so much cooler, you know what I mean? So yeah, thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Right, we are catching up with Gemma Cordery, who has just won her first national title. How does that feel right now?
Oh, it's amazing. I've never had a national title. It's great, honestly.
And how many years have you been cycling?
3.5, yeah.
And what has cycling kind of taught you outside of, you know, from the life skills perspective? What has that taught you, having this dedication to cycling?
I guess it's kind of having friendships and social throughout sport in general, yeah.
And what's your favourite thing outside of cycling to do?
Just cycling, really. Yeah, mainly just cycling.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, your first national title. It's going to mean so much to you going forward, and we look forward to welcoming you back next year to defend your title.
Thank you so much.
No, never unnecessary. I'll just go stand on the other side of the camera.
Ladies and gentlemen, the award ceremony for the 2022 Track National Championship Elite Women's Points Race will now take place. We'd like to welcome back Rushley Buchanan to present the medals. In third place, and the winner of the bronze medal, representing Waikato Bay of Plenty, Prudence Fowler. In second place, and the winner of the silver medal, representing Auckland, Ella Wiley. And in first place, the winner of the gold medal and another national championship jersey for the drawer, representing Waikato Bay of Plenty, Bryony Botha. Bryony also receives a native plant from our proud sponsors, Amber Garden Centre. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us and show your appreciation for the place getters in the Elite Women's Points Race National Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now present the Horowhenua County Centennial Challenge Cup. This cup is to be presented to the elite female with the most points across the time trial, sprint, and individual pursuits at the National Championship. I'd like to welcome Rushley Buchanan to present this trophy, and would like to welcome to the podium the winner of the Horowhenua Cup for 2022, representing Waikato Bay of Plenty, Bryony Botha. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us to congratulate Bryony on a fantastic all-round performance at the 2022 Track National Championships.
So there is all the presentations for the medal winners of the last part of the session, with some great rides from everyone involved. So we've just got the points race totals here. So a stellar ride from Bryony Botha, taking the win out on 69 points. Ella Wiley, really gutsy ride on 45. Prue Fowler, 29, taking that bronze medal. Penny Pawson, 16 points. Emily Sherman, 11. Sammy Donnelly on 5, and Emma coming on 2. Great riding, ladies. So I'd just like to thank everyone for joining us at the Grassroots Trust Velodrome for the Friday session of the Elite Women's and Under-19s. We're back at 7. Just a few people that we need to thank for today, who have done like a phenomenal job in supporting Cycling New Zealand and all the people involved there. So just won't be a second. So massive thanks to our event sponsors, Skoda, Amber Garden Centre, funding provided by the Trillion Trust, CNZ's valued performance partners, Southern Spars Wheels, Kask Helmets, Le Col, who are cycling apparel, Victoria Tyres, Degerit, and I'd also like to thank the broadcast team from Sky Sport Next and SBI Productions.